Howdy folks, welcome to Adventures in Albaron Courts of Everest, our original D&D campaign. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Vincent, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alana. We are missing Matt tonight as he is in Narragansett. I don't know why that's the accent that I chose for it. That's not how people in Narragansett. If you're not from Massachusetts.
Are you sure? Have you been?
Don't use that as your information for Narragansett. Yes, I have. That's not how they talk. So, anyways.
But you haven't been. You don't know.
That's fair. So we're going to play D&D tonight, believe it or not. But before we do, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we have a YouTube and Instagram, a Threads, a Blue Sky. They are all at Albaron RPG, where you can see the different things on our table, like this encounter map. Provided that people take pictures of them, they will show up on all those different accounts. We played last weekend Ostara. It's an epic 6-hour adventure broken into 2 parts on YouTube, and then the other one over on our Patreon, which you can follow. And
if you want the end content to the game, you got to buy the DLC.
You do, unfortunately, but there is a tremendous amount of content on Patreon. It's well worth a look at the very least. There's tons of stuff there that it's like a whole other world. And then we last night played Starfinder, which we do every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our Starfinder party mixed it up in the Fighting Pits of Aphrodite.
It was so good!
You can see that when it re-airs right around, I believe, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday on our YouTube. Also, next Sunday, which is in just a couple days, we have Iron and Thorn in Session 2, which is going to be live at noon right here on Twitch. We, as a group in 1930s New York, yes? Okay, I can't. It's 19 because I remember we did the poll and it messed me up a little bit. 1930s New York. That is going to be a group of us adventurers making our way into the mines, following some tiny little creatures who are taking our tools.
They're just little guys.
Yeah, just little guys.
Little guy.
And so that is going to be Sunday at noon. We also have upcoming a new one-shot, if you are a Patreon subscriber, that is going to be Albaron After Dark, Poison Heart Mansion. There will be a little bit of a drinking adventure, and that is going to be, it's mostly written, it'll be relatively soon. That is all the announcements that I have. If you want more announcements, if announcements are your thing, you can go over to YouTube, and there is a State of Albaron 2025 where you can see, I think it's 24 minutes of announcements. So
They're really good announcements.
Thank
They're
you.
fantastic.
There's a lot of stuff
They're
coming up this
chronological.
year. There's so much stuff, and now there's even more because Fallout wasn't originally going to be a multi-part series, and now it is. So you can see all that stuff over on YouTube. But now it's time for this week's session of Courts of Everest.
You got with your
All right, Kara, and to you for the recap.
Wandering Hearts, when last we met. On the top of a plateau, we faced down the Lord of the Valley where Whispers Die. Orthaniel Bloodcross is what I had in my notes.
Orthaniel Bloodcross, yeah.
Aha! He demanded that one of us must stay for the rest to go. And as Ori passed this information on, because he demanded it in Ori's head, Ori settled on himself and offered himself up. Seemingly willingly, but in truth, not, as the vampire tried to charm him to come forward and did not succeed, thanks to a well-placed natural 20. As the rest of us try to fire off shots until Alina can cast a well-timed plane shift spell, Euthelius nobly sacrifices himself and flies to distract the vampire away from us so that we can get away. Our uncompromising paladin steadfast and true lawful good, unable to waver in his oaths, would not leave Euthelius behind, despite, him being a motherfucker. And followed him, thereby forcing the rest of us to stay behind, because we're not gonna leave without Valus. He's the guy that takes the hits for us.
And asks the question.
Sometimes we mean to ask questions, but your patron is talking and then hangs up on you. Anyway. Resigned to our fate, where we're most likely going to be eaten and devoured by not only Orthaniel Bloodcross, but also his wolves, Ori takes wing once more and flies down to not quite join the fray, but stand up on top of plateaus to shoot closer shots at Orthaniel, thereby protecting Euthelius and Valus. Billy, of course, not one to be denied a chance to get a sword in, decides to just jump off the plateau and Misty step down, which was really cool in her head, except she flubbed the landing and then landed prone and then just got up and, pew-pewed from there. Which, of course, attracted the attention of multiple wolves, immediately downing her. And then, once more, Valus, Ori, and Euthelius were on their own again. Cheshire desperately clung to Minka as Minka decided to enter the fray further, achieving a glowing form and rising above us, alternately throwing shots. And shots of healing. Alina cast a powerful heal spell to bring her friend Billy back up from the dead, and with a wonderful counter charm, Cheshire sang for all of us to keep the vampire's powers at bay. Truly an advantage in the fight. And we almost had him before he eventually escaped, and man, that motherfucker's fast. Because as he blew off into the night, Valus followed on his new elk steed, but was unable to catch him, instead stopping and calling out for the vampire to face him. While the rest of us licked our wounds and prepared to leave, Ori looked off into the distance and saw the invisible vampire regaining strength, for indeed we had not won the battle, but won a reprieve. Resigned to a hasty retreat, Valus rejoins us, and we all plane shift to the Feywild, or what we think is sturdy Feywild. Indeed, we are not in the Feywild, but in the Shattered Spears?
Shattered Sphere.
Sphere! That does make more sense.
I also thought it was spear.
Notes. Nope, not a convulsion, not a conglomerate.
Convergence?
Thank you. Of 5 different planes. And we are not alone, for there, in front of us, the object of Ori's search for this entire campaign, his sister. And her Amber Sworn Guard. After some initial conversation, it becomes clear that Ellie does not remember her brother, and indeed seems more suspicious of him than anyone else in the party. But with some wonderful diplomacy by our resident party members, and a reminder that Ori carries a piece of memorabilia of his family that might help with introductions, she is swayed to listen to him from time to time. They are also convinced of our righteousness because Valus, again, unwavering in his oaths, true lawful good paladin, wears the badge. Proving that we are indeed justiciars of Hearsome of the Four Treaties. And that we are here to help. Maybe not them, but certainly an aligned goal. We discover that the area that we are in is not only a convergence of 5 planes, but also home to the Madam of Dark Reflections, a powerful archfey who keeps souls in mirrors as a way of gaining power. For the facing of the mirrors also has some sort of way of binding the pact together, the ritual that is holding the dome in place and hiding the moon from Everest. It is our goal to enter the Madam's house, open the container where the ritual is held, and read it. Billy, recognizing that Hearsome is an archfey and maybe has had dealings with the madam, decides to give Hearsome a call, and upon calling Hearsome, gets some information that maybe she's just a good dinner guest. So Billy decides that we should just try and talk to her. Maybe she'd be amenable to helping us out, because honestly, Billy doesn't want to fight an archfey. She's seen what Hearsome does. She doesn't want to die again and again and again.
Fine.
So instead endeavors to walk up the stairs. Minka, ever the prescient soul, casts an augury to discover whether or not our intentions and our course of decided action is a good one, only to discover that the augury says, I guess. It could be. It could also not be. It really depends on what you're looking for in life. Again, straightforward, as all auguries are.
Damn magic 8-ball.
And in that time, Billy has decided it's time to knock on the entryway to the madam's house. And upon glimpsing a conversation that none but Ori could understand, entered. And passing by a plinth, I guess, with a very shiny sword. We are beset by will-o'-the-wisps on our way in to meet the madam. And I say our because Billy intended to go alone and told people to stay behind, and they followed her. It's not Billy's fault! And that's where we begin our session.
Very well done.
Thanks for leading us in here, Billy.
God damn it!
And so a little bit of housekeeping with Matt, not with us. There is, as this sort of initiated and as you stepped into this space, we'll say that retroactively a sort of veil of shadow drifted across the door. And Ori and the sister and this Amber Sworn, having already scouted the area somewhat, indicated that there are at least 2 other entryways on the other side and have hastened to make their way around, perhaps to help you in what comes. As you approached this place and you saw that sword at first looking almost black, but really just so reflective, so mirror-like is the finish of the blade that it almost absorbs light unless you look at it straight on. That is where, Billy, you had kind of keenly looked over and then observed these wisps. Almost at once, as these appear, you can see amongst these sort of bits of fungus and other elements, it's like the light around you grows darker. There is still room beyond what you see on this encounter map here, but anything beyond the realm of what is here is plunged into magical darkness. For you, Alina, who can see a little bit further, there is about 20 feet in any direction before a wall is found. To the north, in that direction, you can see 20 feet further, there is a doorway. This doorway has open metal doors that could be shut. Beyond that, you can see the bright lights that kind of form the central passageway beyond. On the map, you are currently in that front rectangle room. Yeah, and you can see through the door the long hallway and then that bright room beyond.
Okay. And which way? I know the madam walked off and we were kind of following
To
her.
the right.
Here?
In that direction.
Here.
Yeah. Still in that central room, but out because of that really narrow hallway, you can only see straight ahead. Very narrow is your field of view.
Oh, and she went to the right of that.
No,
So she's like somewhere in the
she's
room.
probably like right there.
Yeah.
She's
I
just like
gotcha.
She could be
directly in the
anywhere
corner.
here.
Yeah. And the room we're in has mirrors in it, right?
No.
Oh, I was gonna
Mirrors
It's
are
just
in that
dark.
big room beyond. You
Oh,
can see like
beyond.
hundreds of them, but here, none. Save that sword.
Is this? I was about to ask. The sword's a mirror.
If you go up, and Billy was the one that got closest enough to be able
Yep.
to see,
I didn't look at the sword. I walked past.
You did. But you had seen that this is something that is not just black absorbing light. This is a mirror-like finish that just doesn't have something shining on it.
Billy did glance at it.
Yes, and you know that it is a mirror. It didn't swallow you, and so you're not worried about that necessarily. But in this moment, Billy, you can see that there are these little wisp-like creatures. You can hear amongst them these little little giggles, and then they just into these big mounds of mushroom. And the one that is nearest you kind of separates and shudders, and you can see areas where the sections break apart and become almost humanoid. You've encountered myconids before. This is not what this is. This is something that is almost inhabited and driven by wisps. And in this moment, you can feel the intentions of them shift, and that giggling stops, and I need everybody to roll for initiative.
Damn. Who could have seen this coming?
Everyone.
Just gonna ask to have some dinner.
Still on the table. All right, anybody
Something's on the
natural
table.
20?
So no.
Okay. 25 to 20.
Nope.
20 to 15.
15.
Okay.
17. Am I going first?
You are
Yeah?
not.
Oh.
Aw. No, but also yes.
Okay, 15 for Minka. 15 to 10.
12.
13.
13 for Billy.
Lucky.
12 for Cheshire. 10 to 5. Alina, where are you?
4.
Oh, no. 4 for Alina. Okay, and then I am just looking for... Rez is down, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
He got it.
If you want, just for sake of ease, you can pull Euthelius off as well. We'll have them be trapped with Ori
Oh, damn it.
for balancing purposes.
Balance.
Put him here. Learn to respect Euthelius.
So,
I just
the way that this works out, the Wisps are leading us off, followed by Valis, then Minka, then Billy, then Cheshire, and then at the very end of time,
In
we have
jail.
Alina. So these
Alina's off with his
creatures
sister, too.
are going to lumber over.
Come on, guys.
This will step towards Valis. This one will turn towards you, Billy. And this one will work over towards you, Alina.
I have a soft spot for these mushrooms, the purple mushrooms, because that was my first session ever.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
right
it
in
was,
the
huh?
mushroom room.
The mushroom room.
Mushroom room.
So, first, as an action, you could see these mushroom-like creatures just drift. They don't walk with their legs, though they do have them. They just kind of drift a couple inches off the ground. And then, versus slashing out with these claw-like appendages, the chest opens up, and you can see the glowing wisp inside shocks from within. First, it does that to you, Valis. That is going to be a 22 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Okay. Valis, this electricity, more than a regular will-o'-the-wisp, this seems to be a little bit more potent. In this place where the Shadowfell meets the Feywild, this seems to be a bit empowered. That is going to be 15 points of lightning damage. And Valis, you can see the electricity hits you hard, jolting through your armor and then ripples over towards you, Billy.
You're welcome,
Billy.
Billy.
Hi.
Does a 15 hit?
No.
Okay. And the electricity hits you, you catch it right with your sword and just discard it into the ground. The electricity jolts across the stone,
Fuck you.
but you end that rolling shock. Billy, you are satisfied, but you turn and this other one opens up and shocks towards you.
Damn.
However, that is only going to be a 10 to hit,
Nope.
and you are able to dodge.
Yay.
Alina, this one shocks you directly in front of you. That is only going to be an 11 to hit,
Oh.
and so misses you. But for you, Billy, and for you, Alina, in the wake, as this gap in the chest begins to close, there is a of spores that go out
that's
across.
not good.
And as a bonus action, they will use blinding spores on Billy and on Alina. Can each of you make a dexterity saving throw as you try to
It's against
dodge
the
out of
spell.
this way? It is not.
Yay. 24.
You dodge, you can see the spores and almost instantly become sticky and tacky in the air as they drip down. You imagine this would get in your eyes and blind you at least for a turn.
17.
17, and you imagine as well, but you don't have to know because that is a success. You are able to dodge out of the way. That is all three of these creatures. That brings us to Valis. Minka, you're on deck.
I would like to...
Valis, as you begin your turn within 15 feet of not one, but two of these creatures, can you please make 2 Constitution saving throws?
18 and... Oof. 12.
So for the first one, that is a success, and so you are taking 16 points of poison damage, half to 8. The second one is a failure, which is relatively good for you, as you are taking only 8 points of poison. What would you like to do?
I am going to.
In this space between these mushroom things, it feels like these rotting mounds of fungus are just dissipating these like toxic spores that are filling your lungs and your nose. As long as you breathe, you would imagine you're going to continue to take this damage while you're nearby.
How does holding my breath work?
You hold your breath, I believe. I know that you can hold it, and then you can hold your breath for a number of rounds equal to. Sorry, a number of minutes.
Equal to your Constitution
Modifier, yeah. So you can usually hold it for a pretty good amount of time.
Okay. I will. I will shout the spores, and then the spores are poisonous, and take a deep breath and start to hold my breath. Does that impact my combat at all?
If you need a verbal component to a spell, yes.
That makes sense. All right, and then I'm going to move over here, which does provoke 1 attack of opportunity.
It does. It will absolutely take that. Another
Sure.
rolling shot. That is only 10 to hit.
Miss.
It just doesn't quite hit you.
And then I will borrow a d20,
Mm-hmm.
and I will attack the one that I'm flanking with Billy.
Okay. Roll at advantage.
Let's
Also for what it's worth, you move within 15 feet of that other one. And as you do, I do need you to make a Constitution saving throw before you make that attack.
Oh my god, I think I failed it. I mean, I did fail it.
There
I
you
rolled
go.
less than before.
That is only 9 points of poison damage.
Wow.
Go ahead and make your attack at advantage against this flanked creature. You are wading through fog of this stuff, and it doesn't impact your vision. You can't really see it, but you can feel it. As it gets into your nose and into your mouth, you are feeling nauseous.
29 to hit.
29 to hit, that is a hit.
And that will, let's see. That will be 3 radiant and 12 magical slashing.
All right, 3 radiant and 12 magical slashing. That all does the full amount that you would expect. Anything else?
And then I'll attack it again.
Okay,
Natural 20.
that's a hit. Go ahead and roll damage, double the dice.
Another good
Nice.
I guess I'll just smite.
Might as well.
He do be smite.
Does this thing count as fiend or undead?
It is undead.
Oh!
As you cast the smite into the creature, you feel it take that extra effect. You are aware of the fact that this is a spore-like creature. On the inside, it is just a will-o'-the-wisp.
Alright, so that would be 13 magical slashing. Sorry, I forgot the double dice. 16. 21 magical slashing.
Okay.
And then 36 radiant.
Damn.
Very nice.
All right. Already this creature beginning to look very rough. You hit it once, it slashes through, and there is this of radiant light. And you can see it's like the entire chest cavity is just splattered across the back of the stone, and then it just grows back together. It is about a foot shorter, but it is still there.
Okay. And I think I'll use... I end my turn.
Okay, that is your turn, Valis. You take a big chunk out of this creature in front of you. Minka, what would you like to do? Billy, you are on deck.
Okay, so am I also within 15 feet?
Yes, you are, and I believe it is of one. I think it's of 2 of them.
Okay.
You are just out of range. I think you might be all 3. Hang on. No, 2 of them.
Okay.
So make 2 Constitution saving throws, please.
I'm assuming that one's a pass because I think the con save is pretty high. Yeah. So that's 26.
Yes.
Am I within enough feet of Valis?
I think so.
That's +3, right?
Yeah.
10 feet. So plus 4.
That's +4 now.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, Valis
16.
somehow became more good looking, so.
16. 16 is a meets it beats it.
Oh.
And so with both of those successes, you are taking 14 points half to 7, and then 16 points half to 8 of poison damage. As you enter the space, you don't smell anything, you don't like taste anything, but almost instantly you can feel as if like your body becomes a little bit heavier. You feel a little bit of a flush rise into your forehead. There is something happening here.
Okay, so I heard Valis say poison. And now I have a intricate understanding of what he meant. So Minka's just gonna choose to stop breathing.
Okay, easy for you.
Right.
And I'm
Breathing
gonna-
is purely recreational for me.
It's just to fit in.
Some people
Yeah.
smoke weed, some people breathe. You know?
You know, it makes people really uncomfortable if you stop breathing for long periods of time around them, it turns out.
When you're already blue.
I'm gonna be the archer and shoot one.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot the one that is behind Valis.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 18 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. As you become or take on the form of the archer, you can see the motes of starlight just cast a bright light in the space. The darkness that forms almost a barrier around this seems to shy back almost a few inches as you do, but absolutely you hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Awesome. So it's it is 1, 2. Sorry, I always forget if it's. Yeah. Okay, I just want it's not a +5. Okay. Ooh, 1 point off of max damage. Nice. 15 points radiant damage.
And that does the full amount that you would expect.
Excellent. So that was my bonus action. And so I'm gonna take a step to the side towards those blue mushrooms. Could you just like put me 2 more over actually? Yeah. Put me there. Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you very much. And then from here, I'm going to we've fought will-o-wisps before. Alana doesn't remember if there was anything special about them outside of that they sucked and hurt.
Yeah.
Can Minka remember anything about them? I'll gladly take an action to remember.
Make an intelligence check. I would say for that, it's more of a nature check
Yeah.
as you try to think about like what you know
It was-
about will-o'-the-wisps. And I would say you can make it an advantage as you
Okay.
fought them before.
Because the last encounter we had with will-o'-wisp was outside a spooky tower in a candlestick forest.
It was.
I
And
wasn't there for that.
Huh?
No, uh-huh. You
Not
were there.
for
No, the candlestick
the
forest.
candlestick forest. We fought will-o'-wisps. They're both the same number. That's wild. They're not great. 17.
With a 17, you look at these creatures and thinking about will-o'-the-wisps, you know that they are completely immune to lightning. You tried to shock and grasp them and it just giggled at you.
Right.
And that is not going to be effective. You also would imagine as you breathe in this poison, they're probably, if not immune, at least resistant, though you suspect immune. You would remember that non-magical attacks don't hurt them. You would remember that things like acid or cold that really rely on like gripping onto something don't seem to be as effective either. Outside of that, you can remember there's some other resistances, but what they are, you don't quite remember.
So basically, I just remember that these guys kind of suck.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Sour is her action to remember, her bonus action to shoot, and her movement. And we're not talking because we are not breathing.
There you go. That is your turn, Minka. That brings us to Billy Cheshire. You are on deck.
All right.
Billy, can you make 2 Constitution saving throws to start your round?
Okay, +4.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Rolling so much better tonight, which bodes ill for my attacks. But that's an 18 and a 16 on the die.
Okay. Both of those are successes, and so you're taking 15 points of poison, half to 7 from the first, and you're taking only 11 points of poison, half to 5 from the second.
12.
All right, what are you doing?
12. There we go. Billy is going to slash because she has advantage. Ooh. So the first one's going to be a 13 plus 19. 32.
That is a hit.
I short
And the second one is also a 32.
Both
Where
of those are
was this
hits.
yesterday?
I think you did just fine yesterday.
Yeah.
I narrated yesterday.
Now, those are both hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right.
And you have 2 in front of you. Which are you striking?
The one directly in front of me with so fat. Well, is that a guy?
No.
Yeah, this guy.
Okay, so you
'Cause the
strike
one
that
with
one, the one that Valis has already just carved apart. The smite exploded it. It grew back together. It's about a foot shorter than the others, but you carve into this thing.
11, 31 points of magical piercing, and 8 doesn't do shit lightning.
The lightning doesn't do anything, but that 31 points of piercing, Valis did a lot of damage. You finish this creature off. Just
Nice.
thrusting your blade into it, you cut across one shoulder and then across the other. With this X carved across the body, it just crumbles into pieces. And you can see the will-o'-the-wisp, badly damaged from both of those slashes, just disappears.
Okay, when you did the I was very worried that it was a
Anything else? Billy.
Billy isn't feeling good after that last fight, so is going to risk the poison,
Okay.
and just says, I just wanted to have some dinner and healing words.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Go ahead and heal yourself. Anything else, Billy?
Nope.
Cheshire, that brings us to you.
First level.
Backing up out of this cloud if I'm in it.
Okay. From where you are...
Are you in the
I
pitch
don't-
darkness?
You are not in it. No, you're fine. It's only 15 feet around these creatures.
Delightful. And then I'm gonna cast Bane on them, so I need them to make a Charisma saving throw.
All
Do
right.
your
To
thing.
both of those creatures. What is the range on that for both?
It's 30 feet.
30 foot. Oh, within 30 feet.
Within
Right,
30
right,
feet
right.
of me.
Okay. Okay.
choose
One of
target
them.
or-
What kind of save?
Charisma.
Charisma save. That is not their best save. The highest 16.
That is a failure.
That makes sense.
When a target fails, makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from the attack or saving throw.
I got it. All right. Anything else?
Nope, I'm thank you.
You kind of pop your head out of this wall of darkness. You see Minka to your left. You feel a little bit better. Bane, right back in. That is your turn. That brings us to Alina.
These things were born in the dark.
Thank you. Alina is going to almost reflexively just be like, huh! And bonus action, fly, risk the risk the attack of opportunity.
Okay,
Just
we'll get
give
to
it
that in one
shoot
second.
up.
Can you just make a con save just to start your turn?
Is this against a spell?
How
It is
close
not.
are you?
Hmm.
You are benefiting from Ballas's plus 4.
Oh,
Probably
that's
30 feet.
Decent.
I was gonna give you a bonus, but you already rolled.
Sorry.
It's okay.
9.
That is a failure, and so
That's
you
with the plus
as
four.
Oh wait, sorry. 10.
10.
Woof.
That is still going to be a failure.
Oh no.
You are taking a total of 12 points of poison damage.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do? Oh, you fly up.
Yeah.
This creature will take an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
With this rolling shock attack, that is going to be a 21 to hit.
Yep.
All right. As you rush up, the chest opens and there is a jolt of electricity that deals an additional 13 points of electric damage. And as it shocks you, and you are still within 5 feet of Valis, does an 18 hit you?
It misses,
It
but I
misses.
intercept that damage to reduce it by 10.
Very nice.
Ah.
So you block this, and it tries to jolt across to you, but just absorbed into your shield.
Lightning rod.
Alina, what else?
That's pretty good. All right. She's like, "Thank you." And then she's gonna pew 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 at this boy.
Go for it.
Pew, pew,
Gonna do these one at a time. Has he taken any hits yet?
Yes,
Just one.
Okay.
I shot him.
So just roll 3 dice. Just 4 5. Okay, we've got 2 19s and a 25.
Both of those are, or all 3 of those are hits.
Oh, hell yeah. Alright. So that's gonna be 22 points of force damage and 4 fire.
22 points of force. The fire only does half as much as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Bonus action. Oh, with one of the Eldritch Blasts, I will pull him 10 feet closer to me.
You
So,
do.
in
And
a diagonal-
interestingly,
Whoop.
you pull him, and that does not happen.
Oh,
This
no.
just crumbles. And
Uh-oh.
right in front of you, you see
Well-
the will of the
Ooh.
wisp up here.
Is he still Bane?
You pulled him out of the body.
He is still Bane, yes.
I'm awesome. All right. So I had flown up. How high is the ceiling in here?
The ceiling in here, I believe, is 20 feet tall. Give me just 1 second to confirm that.
Oh, okay. So
20 feet tall.
okay, so I'm all the way up, and so I pulled him 10 feet, so he's not right next to me.
Okay, perfect, no problem.
But
little
I
bit
did
lower.
pull him away from Val. Does Valis get an attack of opportunity, or does
I
the
would,
body?
but I
The
use...
body just crumples, and so
Okay.
no attack of opportunity there. You also used your reaction.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, you pull this creature straight out. You see the spores crumble into a pile. It still looks vaguely humanoid. You would imagine it could still be re-inhabited,
Oh, no.
but it will almost certainly take an action to do so. That is your turn. That brings us to the top of the round and to the wisps. The wisp... Oh, it doesn't take an action, actually. The wisp is going to first, as an action, rolling shock you, Alina.
Oh no, I don't want it to.
That is only going to be a 16 to hit.
Is that
Beats
minus a
beats
D4?
Oh, no, it is not.
Hell
minus a
yeah!
D4.
Thank you.
Minus the D4.
And so that is only -1, but that's all that you needed. It doesn't hit you. It just jolts. It cannot strike. As a bonus action, it will erupt some blinding spores in your direction. Can you make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Is it against magic?
It is still not.
There is an equal opportunity fuck with your shit.
Fair.
Dex 11.
With an 11, it
With your
right into your eyes, and you can feel it just harden and become gooey and tacky.
Oh,
And you start scraping it away, but you would imagine that you are blind until the end of your next turn.
I'm blind.
The wisp kind of... Wait, sorry. It is not in the body. It cannot use its blinding spores, so that does not happen. All it does after missing its shock is it... And then right into the spores, and these spores... And then slowly begins to stand up. But that is all that it can do. The other one that is still in the spore-like form is going to lumber around...
lumber.
This is very cool.
right here.
Unfortunate.
Indeed.
But you guys are fine keeping it down.
True.
And it is going to, from behind you, Billy, just take an attack. It opens up. That is a natural 20.
Silvery bars.
Oh.
Oh.
Boys.
All right,
Yeah, you
first
can do
silvery bar. That is a natural 1. And so as it tries to just jolt out and shock you, it shocks its friend instead. Nothing happens. It's immune to lightning damage, but it is still pretty funny. That is all that it can do for its attack. It will, as a bonus action, unable to do any damage, just spray these spores at you, Billy. Can you make a dexterity saving throw?
It's like to just attack rolls, or is that saving throws too? Hold, please.
Advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
There you go.
Noise.
Wow! I wasted it. Double 5s for 12, but 15.
For a total
No!
of 15.
Plus 4! 16!
If it wasn't for the +4, that would have been a failure. 14 is a meets it beats it. You just dodge out of the way, inspired by Cheshire kind of attacking from the darkness. You dart and you are not blinded. That is all that the wisps can do. That does bring us to Valis.
Do I think that... So I just saw one get pulled
The
out.
first thing that you think is 2 Constitution saving throws because you're within 15 feet of these creatures.
I think just one?
One,
But I can roll 2 if you want.
1 and 2.
Yeah,
This
two.
is 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The option.
Aw, Man, I am not rolling very well.
It's contagious.
Oh wait, I'm holding my breath, right?
That's true. That's true. Never mind.
Okay.
As you hold your breath, you are okay.
So I saw Alina pull one out. Do I think that if I like shove one, I can also kind of discorporate them?
You could think what you want.
All right, I'll take the shove action on this guy. Tell this guy to shove it. So.
Okay.
You tell him to shove it?
That was the most passive aggressive I've ever.
Do you tell him to shove it?
Yeah. He has to make a saving throw, I believe. Hold on. I did this wrong last time. Yeah.
There you go.
With your mind voice.
He can make a strength or dex saving throw. His choice.
Or once we're done.
Okay, he's gonna make a dex.
Just gonna say it like 5 minutes later.
is-
Shove it.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is gonna be a grand total
Oh.
of.
And don't forget to roll a d4 because of Bane.
It's 23 minus a d4. It is 21.
Okay.
So that is a success. You tried to shove this creature, and you are unable to do so. Anything else?
Okay.
For what it's worth, Valis, as you try to shove it, and you push your hands just right through. It doesn't do anything, and you feel like your mundane process is not working.
Okay.
It seems like magic is what needs to move this.
God damn these mundane processes.
But Spoken like a Jira professional. You rip your hands out.
I'll just attack him. Does a 17 hit?
17 is a meets it, beats it.
Nice. That will be 11 magical slashing and 1 radiant.
Okay, that does the full amount that you would expect. And against this creature that has taken no damage, it's still looking pretty okay.
Where is Alina?
Alina at the moment is 20 feet up, almost up against the ceiling in this space, right at the edge of the darkness.
At the edge of the darkness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Billy's sword drawn?
Mm-hmm.
The area is bathed in daylight then?
Ah, you still have daylight going.
Right.
Yeah.
Still the wall of magical darkness is just no longer dim light in the space. No longer just Minka's light lighting the area.
We're light bright and everything.
You certainly are.
Alright.
Fun dramatic.
I am done.
That is your turn, Valis. You try to shove, you attack. That brings us to Minka. Billy, you are on deck.
Yes.
Minka, you
So-
hold your breath or you choose to stop breathing, and you have no constitution check to make, but you can feel this air quality just getting poorer and poorer by the moment around you. What do you want to do?
So this guy is like right in front of me. And my normal thing that I do at close range is not going to work. Because I know that will-o-wisps don't care about lightning damage. So instead, I am going to yeah, so I'm gonna like take it and I'm going to reach out and cast levitation on it.
Okay. Does that require a verbal component?
It does.
It
So
does. Okay, no problem.
I will take the
So you open your mouth. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
which is usually pretty good for me. 7, yes. 20. What? How close is it to Valis? 10 feet?
Yes,
yes,
my
you're
aura is
just
10 feet.
outside of
10 feet.
Valis'
Okay,
aura.
so that is an 18.
An 18, that is a success. You only take 8 points of poison damage.
Okay. I will use my reaction to cast fucking absorb elements at first level.
Okay.
I never get a chance to use this,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I might as well.
Does poison count as an element for
It
that?
does.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh no, it doesn't. Shit, it's acid damage, not poison damage.
Unfortunately.
I saw the little drop and I thought it was. It's not. JK it doesn't. Never mind.
Gosh darn it,
Anything
D&D
else?
Beyond.
Levitate.
You levitate this creature. And does it get a saving throw?
It does because it is not a
Okay, what kind of save?
It is con 18 to beat.
It has a pretty good con save. However, that is only going to be a 7.
Not enough.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, this creature falls apart as the wisp just pops straight out. Could you put this? It's directly on top of where that thing is. If you could leave the spore pile there, it can still inhabit that.
So where is this?
Yeah, it's just floating over top because it can fly.
Okay.
No.
You just put it in space next to it. We know that it's
I
already
got
up.
this.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, you got
please
this.
don't.
All right, Minka.
Please
As,
don't.
as the wisp kind of begins to clip through the air, what would you? Anything else?
So,
Their D&D programming not brought to you by Bethesda.
yeah, so it just remains
was
suspended from
literally
the
thinking
Okay, so okay, cool. I will then move away from it.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that that still does everything else, but at least it's now popped out.
It is.
I'll move me yonder past the donuts.
You rush past these big rings of spore. You can see they are almost like sponges or like ocean sponges
Yep.
that have formed these rings that stand up against gravity in this space. But you run over to the ring donuts and turn, and you can see this whole battle unfolding in front of you.
I will aim at the wisp,
Okay.
and I will use my archer bonus action to archer bonus action it.
Go for it. Make an attack roll.
Does a 22 hit.
22 does hit.
Okay. I will do. 14 points of radiant damage to the
With
wisp.
14 points of radiant damage to that wisp, you can see almost instantly the entirety of its form just begins to crackle and fall apart. It barely holds together. It is almost dead, but still up.
Okay, cool. So is my action, bonus action, movement, and I will once again choose to stop breathing because I think there's another spore over here.
There you go. You choose to stop breathing. That is your turn, Minka. That brings us to Billy Cheshire. You're on deck.
Well, Billy hasn't had much luck hitting Will-o'-the-Wisps in the past, so she's...
What you doing?
She's gonna risk the attack.
Okay. You risk the attack. Rush away from this wisp, and it will take a strike against you. However, that's a 10 to hit.
Great! No.
You rush away from this creature.
And we're gonna slash this guy twice.
Okay. Who are you slashing?
This guy.
Okay.
Is that not a guy?
No.
I don't think that's a guy.
I thought it was a guy because you put a bane on him.
I thought
I
it was
didn't
a
put the
guy.
bane on him.
There's a
I
bane
was
on
talking on him because I thought it was a
Oh,
guy.
no, it's not a guy.
Is it just
I
the
was
two
like,
guys?
oh, I must
There
have
was
been...
3 guys to start.
We
then
killed
you
one.
We
got
killed
one.
one.
And then there's
Okay,
just those 2
well
guys.
then I get an free attack of opportunity that didn't happen,
There you go.
and I slash this guy.
There you go. So make an attack.
Cool.
No attack of opportunity occurred.
It
You
could
could
be a
attack
guy.
this
Could
wisp.
be a guy.
The wisp
Never
just
know,
like
maybe
7
he's a
feet up in the air. You have to reach up to slash it.
Oh, we killed Kara.
I breathe in the spores. First is it? God damn it. Hold please.
Okay.
23 to hit.
23 is a hit, even against the wisp.
The other one's a natural 20.
That is also a hit.
Damn. Get him.
Okay, I'm gonna
Revenge time.
roll the regular one first. For a grand min damage, 1 point of lightning damage and 12 points of magical piercing.
Still enough. That creature before your natural
Can I
20
please roll my
hits.
natural 20 anyway?
I mean, you
How
could
much
have killed
movement-
this
how
one
much
and then
movement
moved
do
to
you
the
have,
other
Billy?
one
Yeah,
and hit him
okay.
with
How much
magic.
movement do you have?
I have enough movement to get over there.
So move to the other one and
Okay.
roll damage for your natural 20.
Thank you.
Slap him.
I'm just gonna knock that over.
No problem. You just
apt.
cut
This is
straight
confusion
through this
damage.
will-o'-the-wisp, and you recognize, Billy, as you pierce through this creature, it was much weaker outside of this physical form. It had maybe a third of the health as it would have inside. So you just carve straight through this, and you see this huge hulking bit of mushrooms and spores. You strike straight through its heart. Roll damage on that. Double the dice.
Thank you, DM, for convincing me to just play the game as it should be played. That's 26 magical piercing and 6 points of do nothing lightning.
6 points of do nothing lightning does exactly the amount that you said. You strike into this creature, you pierce straight into its chest, and it's looking really rough. The mushroom-like form barely holding together. You can see the glowing wisp within. Anything else, Billy?
Nope, that's my movement, that's my actions, and Bailey's just gonna keep her mouth shut for the bonus.
No problem. Minka, you yank the wisp out of this creature, and you watch Billy just skewer straight through it, reaching towards the other one. That brings us to Cheshire. Alina, you are on deck.
I'm doing my best to be as small and unnoticeable as possible.
Where's
There
Cheshire?
you go. Easy
No,
to
don't
do.
say that.
That is your turn. That brings us to Alina.
Alright. I'm gonna do a pew and then a pew pew, but I'm gonna start with just one. That's gonna be a 25 to hit.
25 is a hit.
Alright, so do damage and pull. Alright, so that's 10 points of force damage. And 4 fire. And then I'm gonna pull the soul right out 10 feet towards me.
Just straight through the mushroom, and then the crumbling bits just hit the ground, and this wisp is looking very badly hurt.
Alright, and then I'm going to hit it with the other 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Go for it.
It's gonna be a 23 and a 26.
Both of those hit.
Get 'em. Bah! Oh, not awesome. 15 points of force damage.
Alina, tell us how it happens.
It just goes.
And easy enough, it just poof into nothing. You can hear the faint sound of a little giggle as it rolls through the hills here. And just like that, it is Toad. And you are out of initiative.
Oh my god, Sable is gifting subs left and right.
Oh, Sable,
Look
thank
at
you.
that.
Thanks, Sable.
Yeah. In this moment, as you look around, you can see there are just these bits of mushrooms. The air already begins to clear a little bit. Billy, with your sword up, it is just daylight in here. And you kind of cast it around. You can see there is this gleaming sword up on this plinth. There are all kinds of bits of fungus kind of here. And then you can see beyond this hallway. And then at the very end of it, it gets a little darker. At the very end of it, a room full of mirrors. And you can see all kinds of shapes, distorted images, scenes from other places in many of them. And some strange, almost purple clouds that seem to be peering from beyond.
Billy continues the walk forward a little bit more cautiously,
Okay.
kind of keeping her eyes like forward, but her ears open.
I'd like to follow, and you said there's some magical darkness between us and them. I lost track of where the magic.
No, it's just kind of around here.
okay.
And then it's just dark beyond the space behind there. But you,
I'm gonna follow and just be scanning for threats.
no problem. Make a perception check. Minka, are you maintaining your glow?
I'm going to maintain my glow. I'm also going to maintain my choice to not breathe until I need to.
Okay. You continue making choices left and right.
I choose to breathe.
You choose. Just suddenly gasping in after holding it for most of that battle.
Natural
And
20 for
Cheshire-
a total of 26.
Okay.
Sorry. to cut you off.
Oh, Tresha said to me, "Don't look in the mirrors," and Valis is confused. Wait, we're not supposed to look in the mirrors?
Don't
You,
look at the mirrors.
Alina, as you look around, you see a couple things. First, you see this weapon. It is a sword, and the end of it you can see shaped almost like a crescent moon. The very tip, though sharpened into a blade, almost like a swinging glaive. This is a very unusual design, and the fact that it is mirror-like reflective, you catch a glimpse of yourself, but for just a moment you can see almost over your shoulder like there is this dark shape looming, and you kind of turn and they're gone. But looking around, you can see anywhere where there is a reflective surface, when you look at Valis's armor, when you look at other things, you can see that there is the capacity for this archfey to gaze at you. And you feel watched in this space. Though there isn't directly many mirrors, you still can be observed.
Is
Eyes on me. Full time.
is the madam in here? Is there like a door open or?
There's a long hallway that you can walk down to get to the room that you had seen her, and so Billy is walking there. You follow Billy, ever the leader, into this central space. You can see it is a chaotic nexus as you kind of make your way in here. This is a connection point, not just to the Shadowfell and to the Feywild, but to many places beyond. You can see there is no fewer than probably 200 mirrors of different sizes, shapes, colors, materials, all suspended off the wall in various angles to form what looks like almost a vague oval or sphere of glass and sort of crystal that As you enter, you are looking at thousands of reflections of yourselves in these many, many facets. And in one or two of them, you can see these dark purple shapes that seem to kind of come up to the glass and seem to be almost regarding you. In some of these places, you can see scenes, you can see subterranean caverns, you can see a place where there are just veins of liquid iron meeting with lava tubes, just churning into these molten sprays. You could see a place where there is almost like a charred landscape of basalt. You can see through some of these things beautiful kind of buildings of granite. There are many different scenes that you could see here. And for you at that natural 20, off and to the right, you can see through one of these mirrors, peering at you beyond, and the mirror propped up at the end of a long table, the madam. This dark figure standing maybe 9 feet tall if she were standing and not seated, almost amorphous darkness that is in the shape of just a broad-shouldered woman. You can see this big furry hat over top and these red eyes kind of gaze almost indirectly at you from this reflection. But that is what you see.
So she's in the mirror? Or she appears to be?
In the mirror. And you can also see from this space, off to the left and the right, there are openings that go out into the shattered sphere beyond. You can see through the right one, the Shadowfell just unfurling in front of you. And then off to the left, you can see the Feywild, the beautiful hills of the lands of summer, just unrolling beyond. It smells sweet from the left, and from the right, the air is acrid, almost like smoke. And beyond this, you can see there is another long hallway that leads forward. You can see that there are hallways actually that go off in all directions from here. And at the end of each one, you can see a closed door, though the hallways themselves open from that space.
Okay. So Alina is gonna like catch Billy's elbow as if to say, be careful. And then she's gonna say, honored madam, and then just wait for a response.
Okay. You speak this out into the darkness, and you can hear from beyond, and it comes from this mirror, but it comes from at least like a dozen other ones kind of spaced throughout. Through some of the hallways, you can hear like snakes going through the tendrils of her words. You get the sense that though she is appearing in this mirror, she could probably walk from one to any of these very easily. And she says, "Intruders from beyond, worry not. I'm a busy woman. You have free reign of my home. Observe the customs of visitors, and you can leave freely, provided you can leave it all."
Billy once more bows deeply. Honored Madam of Dark Reflections, we have been sent by Hearsome on business. Not directly, but we are to understand that you keep the pact here. Is this correct?
I do not keep the pact, but it lays in the chamber beyond. And her hand gestures out and to the right. She gestures towards that central hallway straight ahead to the north. That would lead to that sort of pentagon room. And she would state, "That I keep it safe is merely a side effect of the work that I do. You are welcome to gaze upon it, but be careful. Its creators were tricky, as I'm sure you understand."
Indeed.
Indeed.
I have also heard that you are a most gracious hostess and wonderful dinner guest.
For the first time, you can see the darkness cracks and you see a broad smile spread. And she says, "Oh, you have you? Would you like some tea?" Billy, make an insight check.
The grip on the elbow tightens.
Okay, we're rolling good tonight. We're rolling good tonight.
Jinx it.
I already rolled. I can't jinx it if I already rolled.
There's more rolls in the future.
24.
With a 24, you look, and the mirror is positioned at the end of a long table. There are chairs, but in this moment, the chairs, they looked just simple and wooden. But as you turn to the right, what kind of emotions are you feeling right now?
Ooh, what is Billy feeling? Billy's not scared. Billy's worried that she has made a grave mistake with the smile, but also is a little hopeful that really this is just all you need to do because she's seen people do this and it's worked.
Billy, with that check, you can see that chair, not just a simple wooden chair, it shifts, and all of the 8 chairs that are at this table just change, and every single one of them becomes the chair that you were made to sit in when you made a mistake with the aunties. And with that 24, you can see there is more to this table and more to these chairs. They seem to read intention and emotion. They seem to react to you. This invitation, far more than just an invitation for tea. There is a ritual that you are being invited to, and you do not know if it is good or bad. With a 24, her intentions are hard to read. But with a 24, you know that with Archfey, and looking around at the dark sort of areas and the mirrors that cast with these souls trapped beyond, her intentions are likely not positive, and she has already said that you are welcome to move about her space. This might be a grave mistake. It may be more than a feeling.
My lady, I would not wish to intrude on your good graces. As you have said, you are a very busy woman and surely have no time for mortals such as we.
The other hand moves and the chairs clatter and they just rattle mundane chairs once more. And she says, "Very smart. You all may survive yet. I will not help you, but I will not hurt you either. But know this, if you die within my hall, you will stay. Ta-ta." And she stands and just walks off one mirror, walks by one other one, and then almost like she circles you, almost predatory, and then you don't see any more movement.
Bye.
Thank
Oh,
you.
she's still here.
I know.
Okay. You know, you talk to a few Archfey and you think that you know them all.
Well, they are different. And then Alina just to the room is going to say, "Thank you for your hospitality, madam."
Perhaps
Perhaps as different as we mortals can be as well.
I was going to say that perhaps now we could, rest a bit.
I could
would
use a
also
breather.
like to rest. And it seems like, we are safe. And thank you, madam, again. I hope it is not too much of an intrusion to spend some time resting. We ended up in this realm by accident, and we have been fighting a lot. I am so tired.
This seems like a good place to rest. Ori and the others got cut off, so if they're likely to meet us, this will probably be a likely place, as it is a convergence of hallways.
I would recommend not sitting in the chairs and also not staring in the mirrors.
You do see, Billy, there's a little cupboard right near the end, right up, like next to where the mirror was. And there are like little accoutrements for tea. There's 2 closed doors at the bottom, and you can see glass across. There are like little jars and things like that underneath. You can see little cups and things. You've turned down this tea party, but there is still tea.
Joe, you said there's a tea cart.
Yes.
Have we seen this tea cart before?
You have not seen this particular tea cart before.
That would have been cool.
That was cool. I was very concerned. I'm like, Sabine!
Billy, with
this
a
a
24,
Creed
It was.
Yes, it was
Okay.
like the
It was like the first
third.
one.
Yeah.
First or fifth,
you
like,
remember
fuck up.
all at once. There were words that you heard once. You don't remember maybe exactly the context with only a 24, but you do know that when it's time for tea, somebody expects you to turn your back on the forest. But you chose for this not to be that time, and perhaps that is a very good thing.
Clank, clank, clank. Bella sits down where he is and starts to rest.
Alina's gonna like pull out the tray, and she considers for a second doing our own tea party, but then she decides that would be rude, so it's just hearty dinner. And Alina's like,
make a little bit extra if you can.
and she's like, all right, and thinks extra hard.
Extra.
The platter just goes, ugh! And just pops out another extra couple
Or
inches
no.
of food.
Why is it a sausage?
Why is it brown? So you create some food with this magical tray, just a very hearty meal for everybody involved. And what
Make
kind of a
some
rest
oats.
are you
Ori
all-
love oats.
What kind of what he does? What kind of rest are you guys trying to take?
I would love to try a long rest if it's possible, but that might be
A short rest might be more wise since we're sitting in the middle of someone's house.
Yeah.
And we have a hall of mirrors we're supposed to look at. And like, I don't want to fall asleep and then die and then be trapped here forever.
Yeah.
She
So
did say that.
that's mostly Alana talking because we're probably just gonna be like, I don't think we should just like sit on our floor.
No, the
All
floor.
night.
For sure no.
To exhaustion.
You're not super close. Give me 1 second here. Looking at my session notes, it is 3 p.m. You guys are probably you're pretty far away. Probably about 12 to 14 hours away from thinking about exhaustion.
Alina
That's
will
good
say,
rations.
I mean, it's just worth considering that we are not likely to encounter safe places to rest anytime soon.
I
But
just don't think that this is the safe place either.
I would have rather rested outside.
me too.
Again, I thought
But,
we just have for dinner.
That's
Sorry.
All right, well, short rest it is then. That's fine with me.
This is like smash cut to Ori long resting over in the corner, and it's like out in the Feywild side where it's like the hills of summer. There's
Yep.
fruit in the trees, crickets.
There's
It's like
mead. Somehow there's a
beautiful.
meadery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it! How is Brambleberry here? Briarberry, Brambleberry, Bramblebriar.
The Brumbleberry Briary is not anywhere nearby.
While a short rest, could I cuddle with the glass wand and identify it?
You certainly can. So you spend the first hour of your rest sort of trying to identify it, and as you consider this wand, you recognize that this is a wand of lightning bolts. This is something that when it doesn't regenerate charges very quickly. I'll have to pull up the actual stats for it, but give me 1 second.
Someone had guessed lightning
I
because
guess lightning
that's what
because
makes-
lightning striking sand
makes it glass.
makes
yeah.
it glass
That
under
actually
the right
wasn't
condition.
the reason
That
why.
was the reason.
If you say so.
We've decided.
It's because lightning bolt has a glass part as a casting component, or something like that. I can't exactly remember what, but there's a reason for it.
Nope.
But yeah, you can believe it's a glass wand of lightning bolts. It has 2 charges in it.
Oh.
It only regains 1 a day, but as an action, you can cast lightning bolt, or you can expend all of the charges, provided you have at least 3 of them, and you can cast Call Lightning. When the last charge is spent, you roll a d20. On a 1 to 10, the wand is destroyed. It is made of glass, after all.
How many charges can it hold?
4.
Billy B. Oh, sorry.
Is it an action to cast either spells?
As an action, cast Lightning Bolt,
Okay.
or expend all charges to cast Call Lightning.
Billy begins humming a song of rest.
You begin to hum.
Can it be used by anyone or like?
It can be used by anyone.
only a
That is the
D6.
nice thing about a wand.
Every summon res.
You
Ba-
resummon
ba-
res.
ba-
It almost instantly goes, oh man.
Sorry, but hey, you did awesome. You made it so that we were able to kill that wolf before it got away. Yes. Oh man.
And he points, and pointing, you can see in this chamber, he points towards one of the larger mirrors. Give me 1 second
Damn it, Rez. Have you spotted a plot point?
here. He
Don't
points,
spot
and he
plot
goes,
points.
I don't, that's not my hills, okay? But, you know about Avernus?
Yeah.
That's Avernus.
Oh damn.
And he points, and you can see this large mirror. It's a standing mirror, and it points out towards a hillside of basalt. You can see charred fields and just like a very hellish landscape.
Thanks for
Sure.
good job noticing. What does Song of Love do again? An extra d6?
If you spend hit dice to regain hit points, you can add an additional d10. I'm doing it. Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, it's the same number.
Hey.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a 3, so not ideal.
Hey, at least you didn't roll a 6 on your d6 and then roll a d10 and get a 1.
Also, Sable and Kitten, thanks for all the subs. Dope.
Sable's killing it.
Yeah.
Kitten too.
Sable is killing it.
Thanks, guys.
And kittens. Kittens and barnacles.
There you go.
So we do finish the short rest, right?
An hour passes,
We've gotten to that part then.
and nobody dies.
Yay!
Touch
You
and
can
go
mark
there for a
off
second.
the different hit dice and things that you want to for a short rest.
Yep.
Anything else that you guys are doing over the course of that hour? Alina, with your natural 20, you keep a very good eye out. You don't sense anything creeping around, though you do note each of these hallways, the sound distinctly different.
Share that.
Some of us suffered max hit point lower drainage,
And that stays.
and that
You
stays.
would imagine you need to finish a long rest for that to go away.
Damn.
Damn.
Damn, son, that's crazy. Back to full with 10.
No, I think the
The
only
hour
thing
passes,
I would do is silly. So.
and you feel, as a group, a little bit better, a little stronger. What are you all doing?
So we need to go into the mirror room, right? And not destroy any mirrors, but open the thing.
The box.
Lena looks around and she's like, I think there's probably multiple mirror rooms, but yeah.
Well, she gestured and it was the dining room, I think. The
The one to
center
the
hall
north?
makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's the room that contains the thing that
The
A container.
container. It
for the
contains
ritual.
the container.
We should
So is it
know
a
that-
container?
Ellie wants what's in there, but we also know. Sorry, did you tell everybody that you know there's a monster that we have to fight?
Yes.
You did, okay.
Billy relayed that we would have to open a container, and when we do, it's gonna suck.
So Alina's gonna be like,
Like it's gonna suck us in?
no, just be bad.
You know how I talk. God damn it.
So Alina's gonna be like, okay, we know Ellie wants to get into that box, and it seems like they've gotten waylaid somewhere. So maybe we can, take care of the guardian for them, and by the time they catch up, maybe we kind of made it a little safer.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Okay, so, how many mirrors are in that room?
We don't know.
We should probably make note, because if we're gonna open something and have something come out and then fight in that room, that's not an ideal way to keep mirrors intact.
Maybe we can draw it someplace. No.
There's just more mirrors. And Billy's kind of like gestures around, and it just. Can Billy like see into the room, or is it magically dark?
Doors closed.
So you're staring to where?
The hexagon room.
So you look straight ahead, and that is a long hallway, at least like 120 feet. The bright light goes maybe like 60 feet in, and then it's just kind of dim to the end. You could see at the end there is a doorway. That doorway is shut, and so you would need to move beyond to see.
Billy says, "Do we want to just go look at it?"
I think that's a good idea. I mean,
Treasures
we
will
don't
be no
know
hallway.
how long.
Billy's following.
Okay.
You walk.
Follow.
You all walk down this hallway. You pass by, and as you do, you can feel it's a weird feeling. It's almost like there is a vibration in the air, like there is something electric. As you get closer to this, there is a almost audible power. And as you get closer, Billy, you're kind of leading the group.
No,
can-
Cheshire said she was
Cheshire-
going
She
first.
did say that.
Cheshire, you're kind of leading the group. You can kind of feel that beyond. There is something potent. Are you opening the door?
I will not open the door now.
Okay.
I will stand to the side and wait for, I'm
I'll
assuming,
open
Valis
Yeah.
or Alina.
You go over and you push these heavy metal doors surprisingly easily. There is no creak to this. They just quietly open. and you can see within. This chamber is designed in the shape of almost like half of a octagonal prism, and you can see that in this space, in the very center of it, there is a huge sphere of a bluish metal, and there is a tremendous number of arcane glyphs and sigils that are just carved across. There is an inscription on the front as well. You can read in Elvish, in Sylvan, in Celestial, and in Common the same message replicated in a sort of like star-like format. For anybody who reads those languages, which is all of you, because there's Common, it says, here's the Lord of Feywild, Nithix, the Lord of Chaos, and Alandor, the Guide Light, jointly proclaim that within this vessel are one of 6 anchors to the astral eclipse. To destroy this will damage the eclipse, and she who was forgotten will draw closer to being remembered. That is all.
Does it say the same in the other languages?
It does. For the one.
Read all of them. Oh,
So
quick
there's
translation.
6 anchors,
Yes.
and haven't we realized that potentially more than one are damaged?
It sounded like 2, maybe 3.
We're not here to damage it, right? We're here to
Make an
open it.
Arcana check as anybody who kind of is regarding this, and as Minka is sort of describing this.
I am.
21.
21. Okay.
Oh, terrible.
27.
22.
With a 27, a 21, and a 22.
Better than 1.
Anybody above a 20. You note that beyond just this sort of printing of these different inscriptions around, kind of almost lost within these arcane sigils that are powerful glyphs of warding and of abjuration, there is what looks like almost a map. And there are a number of these glyphs that are a little bit duller than the rest. Some of them are a little bit brighter, but the ones that are dull stand out because these, unlike the other ones, seem to be almost like locked in place. The other ones swirl and are amorphous, but these very specific. One of them is the Moon Temple Beneath the Waves. One of them is
I knew
Kier
it.
Lor Tel Eldar. One of them
That wasn't our fault.
It still happened.
is Jacaranda's Grove.
Mhm.
Oh, yep.
And those are the ones that are dim.
Okay, so we're only not responsible for one of those.
Oh, apologies.
We didn't.
There's one more that's dim.
No, we're only responsible for
Teledar.
one of those.
There's a final one as you kind of like make a big circle around this orb on the back. This one reads the House of Shallow Faces. And so it would seem that a number of these anchors have been destroyed.
Is that the one,
That's-
the
you-
guild hall, or is that a
Correct.
different name?
That was the guild hall.
Did we do that too? Oh my
Wait,
God.
wait.
Is this the last one?
No, there'd
How many
be.
did you?
2.
That was 4.
There's 2 more.
Well, this one and another.
Wait.
Do these places
Did he say the
align with places where the stars have returned?
They certainly do. And for you, Cheshire, with the 27, beyond that, these mixed sort of swirling glyphs,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a little bit of sense of them. It's not so much that they have direct translations, but from one of them that still glows brightly and is still almost certainly active, you can feel a sort of string that tugs and pulls to the place that you are standing. You are right near this anchor. And then there is one more, and you get the sense, given where it is in position to all the other ones, if you were to lay a map of Everest across this sphere, it would almost certainly be in the Emerald Spire.
Okay, so
Is
just.
there... Okay, question. Sorry.
Mhm.
For those of you who are better at magic, at least understanding what it actually is there any way to tell when these things happened? Like, was the one for the shallow faces before or after we got there?
Is there a log?
There is no timestamps on this magical orb.
Do we remember when this pact was made? Or do we know?
You know that it would have had to be sometime around or before the dome, and so at least 300 years ago.
Do we know when Kier Teledar fell?
You do not.
we're... Oh god, okay. But we're not here to destroy anything. We just want to look at the ritual, right? I want to make sure... Sorry, does Alina... Hannah is not quite sure whether opening the thing to look at the ritual is the same as destroying it. Can Alina figure
I would
it
say
out?
you know that opening it, so these are just warnings.
Yeah.
All of this is in place to prevent people from even reading it. You would imagine that to destroy it, you would need to do something beyond just opening the sphere. This sphere, as you're looking at it, is unlike many metals that you've seen. It seems to be especially powerful. You get the sense that it would take an absolutely absurd amount of regular kind of physical damage to destroy this. This is a very peculiar material.
Okay. So then follow-up question, can I see if I can try to figure out, like, how to open it, and whether it can be closed again?
With that Arcana check, you look around the base of this, and there are 6 mirrors, the only real ones that you can kind of see in this room. And at the moment, all of them just kind of dull reflections gazing back at you, but there is something arcane to them.
Mm-hmm.
Not currently active, but you get the sense that activating these would probably allow this dome to open.
Can I figure out how to activate them?
With what's around, make another Arcana check. There are 2 other doors in this room. You can see on the kind of far walls, angled kind of facing in, each of them a regular size steel doorway. And that is sort of all that you see here.
24.
24. With the 24, you look, and you're recognizing now that aside from the room that you entered, there are, and the room with the big mirrors and the room that you stand in now, there are 6 other rooms. And perhaps there is something in each of those that will activate one of these mirrors.
I say that out loud and I feel kind of silly.
I would like to
I would say
look-
with that check, even more than that, at the moment, the way that this structure is laid out, it's almost a circle. Whatever is happening in this space, you are probably going to disrupt in order to alter this in such a way to open this dome.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I have no idea.
So, looking at the structure of the building
Yeah.
and the placement of the mirrors, does one of them seem to align to the place where we fought the wisp fungus? The wisp
No.
myconid?
No. That seems to be, this kind of straight line doesn't seem to be involved. That's like the central structure. But Valis, to you, that would mean that there's probably some purpose to that room. Perhaps something that is important, but hard to tell what that is.
We got another wheel.
You got another wheel. With that wheel, there was something remarkable in that room. A mirror-like sword with a very peculiar sort of tip to it.
Hell yeah.
Haha, the only item with a glowing outline.
Yeah.
Weird.
This is a quest item, right?
Okay, guys. So we know that whatever we do here, it's gonna be once it starts rolling, it's rolling. Sort of deal. Are we prepared for potentially being the cause of the end of the astral eclipse? Because I know in theory opening it up shouldn't destroy it, hopefully, but we also don't know enough about what we're doing to know whether or not it'll be a problem.
I'm hoping we can close it again.
But also, like, if a guardian is gonna pop out, is the guardian the source? Is that how that works?
I think the guardian might be a guardian. Because they're trying to keep us from reading it, right?
Yeah, because the more people that know about things, the more likely things are to go wrong.
Oh boy. Okay.
It doesn't hurt
You
to
were
just
all-
keep investigate a little more.
Did someone relay like the 6 locations that are on the sphere, or was that?
Alita was the one that found it out.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I said everything that Joe has said.
You were all at the temple, right? Of Saloon's temple under there.
Yeah, we sure were.
So out of these 4 of the places that are no longer active anchors, we've been there.
Yeah.
And we didn't intend to break any of those seals, but here they lay broken. I am worried that we are going to also break this sphere, even if we do not intend to.
One thing we do know is that Ori's sister is here to read the ritual, and she probably sacrificed a lot to be here. So even if we don't want to open it, she does, and she's kind of scary. Kara has texted me that Billy says, remember everyone, we have to fight. I can't do the Billy voice. Billy reminds everyone that we need to fight the Guardian, and Billy suggests that we just explore all the rooms.
I mean, we might as well.
Are we still committed to opening this
I don't know.
container?
Maybe by exploring the rooms, we'll learn more about what we're up against, and maybe we'll have more information.
Do people do like murals on the walls for like help anymore? Is that a thing?
What?
Like, you know, like instructions on walls and stuff?
The
Do
lady of
people
the
do
house
that?
Doesn't really seem like a mural type.
I don't know.
You're more of a mirror type.
Where do we want to start? Should we just go around? Start with on the one on right?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. We've already seen one room with that cool sword.
And at the moment, you guys are in that kind of pentagon room.
Yeah.
So there's 2 doors to rooms on either side, and then you can go back to the main hallway, and then take longer hallways to larger rooms.
Okay. So, yeah, why don't we, I don't know. And then she gestures to like one of the, like to the 2 doors, and she's like, column A, column B.
Is there anything like identifiable between the two of them?
They're
or are they
almost identical, though the air feels different around them. Around the one on the right, you can feel it is a little darker. You can feel the air is a little cooler. On the left, the air is a little bit more damp and humid and smells almost salty.
to the right, I guess? I think it's gonna approach the right door.
Okay.
I'll stand by Minka.
Okay. You press the door open. And because it is 8:30 and a good place to take a break, this is where we're going to step away. But when we come back, we will find out what is behind door number 1. Thank you for sticking with us. There is a countdown that you will see on your screen. We'll be back at the end of it. We'll see you then.
Bye.
And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. If you did, if not, welcome to D&D. You are a part of our campaign now. All of you open the doors, one of the two that are within this pentagon-shaped room, and in front of you, just 1 second here, you can see the door opens to a room where through it there is a dark wind that blows through, and the smell is of swamp and of brackish water. It assails your nose, but none of you more than you, Billy. There is something about this smell that has a tinge of home to it. It is chillier here than in the room that you are standing in. You can see within this space is a rectangular room with a trio of stone monoliths, and each of them is placed upon an arcane platform. The arcane nature of it seems to be inert. There is no magic glowing within this dark space. There is a trio of narrow windows that are on the wall opposite of where you are, and you can see they're almost like arrow slits in their shape. Each of them looks out into a dark and desolate swamp. You are in a place that is almost certainly in the Shadowfell. In the sky, you see the swirling smoke overhead, and that is what you see. Yes, Billy.
Does Billy... So, in the central chamber, Billy got the sense that, like, the chairs and, like, the madam would reflect whatever Billy was feeling.
Yes.
Is that what's happening here? Because
No
this
roll
feels
required,
familiar.
Billy. When you step through this door, you will not be in the material plane. You will not be in the Feywild. You will be wholly within the Shadowfell. When you step into this room, you will be in a room that is part of a building that is somewhere in that space. This is not reflecting your emotions. This is real. What these monoliths are, hard to tell. Make a Arcana check in this space as you peer out.
Ah, there it is. 12.
What languages do you speak?
Common, Sylvan, and Elvish. And Billy's trying desperately to learn Giant.
That's fair.
So she speaks like...
With
she,
what?
Are you taking lessons from Valis?
yeah.
Oh.
But so she gets really obscure, like, legalese and historical phrases.
So that does help. You can read that in Sylvan there is kind of words chiseled into the stone at the base of each of these pillars. Do you want to read the words?
Not out loud.
Okay. You look at them. On this first pillar that is made of an ancient stone, you can see it is cracked and worn with time. There are vines that crawl up like into each of these little cracks and then have withered and died. You can see there is a symbol, just barely carved in it, of an hourglass with sand pouring downward. And the inscription reads, "I am not what I am or what I was. My shape and purpose change, though my source remains. I leave no trace but my memory."
Oh, fuck.
Riddles.
They're all riddles. Billy
Right.
looks at the other pillars. Do they all seem similar in their inscriptions as far
The
as, like...
second pillar, constructed of a little bit of a darker stone that seems to almost shimmer with a faint, constant light, almost like there is a light source somewhere in here that you can't quite see. You can see there is another symbol on this. It is a sun rising over a horizon, and this inscription reads, "I live in the moment and then fade away. Though I shine bright, I'm fragile and small. My light is a gift, yet I burn till I fall."
Is there a third pillar?
There is, and this third pillar is taller than the others by a few inches. It is a cold stone that glimmers faintly, and this, not a reflection of a glow somewhere, it is glowing from within. There is like a little bit of an etheric glow, and it feels like almost starlight. And the symbol here is like a long path that stretches over the horizon where there's the sunrise and the other one. This is just a straight roadway. And the inscription reads, "I never move, yet travel far, from coast to coast and star to star. And as complex as I might be, I almost always come with key."
How's key spelled?
Do you read Sylvan?
Yeah.
K-E-Y, but in Sylvan.
So not like a key point.
Billy looks over at the second one and says, Kind of sounds like a candle.
You say it kind of sounds like a candle, and as you say that, the stone glyph, the sort of pillar, glows with light. And you can see it kind of lights up all along the plinth and then up into the monolith proper, and you can see the symbol itself. The unending path that stretches into the horizon glows brightly. And you can feel like the little cracks in the stone around you begin to glow a little bit more, and they shift towards that far hallway. And all of a sudden, you can see faintly there is a rectangle in that wall set above that central window, and you can see it a little bit better.
Can you read the first obelisk again?
We riddling, boys.
We are.
Also, this pillar is bilingual, unlike those stupid gates.
I am not what I am or what I was. My shape and purpose change, though my source remains. I leave no trace but my memory.
The first line again. I am not.
I am not what I am or what I was.
Dream.
Time.
You say drain,
Dream.
dream. You say dream out loud, and the shadows grow darker. All around you, the Shadowfell seems to become a little bit more substantial. And Billy, that is not the right answer. The room feels a little smaller, and you probably don't want to make too many more false guesses.
That sucks.
What was your guess?
Time, but I'm not like confident all that.
Are you saying it out loud?
I'll say it to Billy telepathically.
Yeah.
One more time?
But it's not what was or what
I am
is.
not what I am or what I was. My shape and purpose change, though my source remains. I leave no trace but my memory.
And
You can see the symbol, little hourglass with sand pouring downward. In this space, this is the only pillar that doesn't seem to be reflecting or glowing any light. And the words are, I am not what I am, I am not what I am or what I was. My shape and purpose change, though my source remains. I leave no trace but my memory.
I got one riddle.
Chat, help us out.
I'm thinking like past or shadow, but I'm not confident in either of those.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is like, it's not like smoke or air.
But luckily, you don't need to be confident. You just need to be right.
Dude.
Man's got a point.
You have gotten 2 wheels this session, and so debiting your other one, bringing you back to 0, you imagine that of those 2 options, one is correct.
What were the options that you said?
Shadow and past.
Shadow.
Shadow makes the first part makes shadow makes more sense. The last part makes past make more sense, leaving just the memory.
But if the past is what was.
It's like I'm not what I was. Well, read the first line again. Like
I
I
think you're
I
can't.
right.
am not what I am or what I was. My shape and purpose change, though my source remains. I leave no trace but my memory.
If the second one is a candle.
I think shadow.
I think shadow is
makes
it.
more sense because if you shine a light on a shadow and it doesn't leave any marks behind, its source remains because whatever's blocking the light.
Yeah.
And it isn't a shadow. Isn't what it's blocking. It's silhouette. It constantly moves, changes as you move.
Chat
Dallas is
agrees
not
that it
smart
might be
enough
shadow.
to know the answer to this, so he says
I don't think
that
so.
obelisk looks kind of dark, like a shadow.
As you say shadow, the light begins to just emerge from the plinth and crawls along the monolith, rising up. It feels the symbol, and it crawls along the floor beyond and into the wall and up. And you can see that rectangle beyond just a visible rectangle. Parts of the stone crumble away, and you can see reflective mirror from the other side. But unlike any mirror you've seen, there is a purple glow. It is ethereal. There is something that seems to match the dark energy that you saw in some of those mirrors in that central room. This is a very important mirror, and it is almost free. And you can see now at the base of it, there is a place that you might be able to insert something crescent shaped, and that might allow you to change the orientation of this mirror.
Can you read the last riddle again?
I never move, yet travel far, from coast to coast and star to star, and as complex as I might be, I almost always come with key.
So.
Coast to coast and star to star.
So
Not out loud, because Mink is not very smart, but what about like a map?
You know, my mind was there too, actually. So.
Because it's star map.
actually,
Yeah.
can you read that again? Now that we're thinking map.
I never move, yet travel far, from coast to coast and star to star, and as complex as I might be, I almost always come with key.
It's gotta be.
That's my first thought.
Okay. I also had a thought, but I like that one better. Mine was like a song or like a sound, like the key and the pitch, but
But you could still consider that in map.
Matt says sound, music.
yeah.
Sable guesses map as well. One more time. Sorry.
I never move, yet travel far, from coast to
Sounds
coast and star to star, and as complex as I might be, almost always I come with key.
That's such a weird way to phrase it.
Doesn't a map have a key?
Oh my god, yes it does.
You say map out loud,
Yeah.
and as you do, the final monolith begins to glow. The light travels up and through the floor and into the wall. The final bits of stone crumble away, and you see before you a soul mirror. You can see gleaming in the darkness. You can feel as if it absorbs from beyond in the Shadowfell and draws energy in. When you approach this space, you had felt almost electric, and you're realizing now whatever energy this is capturing is being transmitted back to that central room. And if you turn this, that will stop and likely refocus that on the sphere.
So
Does someone want to stay here? It's two groups. One stays here, the other gets the sword.
should we all just move together and get the sword?
I'm worried that the door will close and we'll have to reopen it.
Rez goes, I mean, I could get the sword.
Do you say that in Alina's head or out loud to everybody?
In Alina's head.
Alina's like, Rez can get the sword?
That's a big sword, buddy.
First of all, have you seen how big I actually am? That's how strong I really am, okay? So I can handle the sword.
Yeah, but when you're bigger, right?
I'll go with him and get the sword.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if we should split up. But
I think Billy has a point too. Was it hard to open the door? I don't
No.
remember.
It just opened.
It's less about if it's hard to open it or not, but once it's open, can we reopen it? We're starting a ritual. You can't just go back.
But the entire space is part of that ritual. It's not like.
Yes. But
Inside check the ritual.
The ritual.
I also insight check the ritual.
Might as well. Can we collectively incite it?
I'm gonna say out.
Billy made the
You
hypothesis
can
out
make an
loud.
Arcana check to understand the ritual.
I would like to do that.
21.
Okay.
This
18.
With an 18, you get the sense that this ritual, and this might be a theme here, this ritual exists separate from the sort of house. Yes, it's going to open this mirror and that will make it accessible. It will likely do something else within the Shadowfell. That is not related to this temple that you are all exploring, and so you can probably leave and come back freely. Once you've made the change, that change will go through. But you get the sense that if you wanted, you could leave and come back later, and this state will still be saved.
We hit a save point, guys.
There was a little quick
Nice.
save option. We missed the
Saw
icon.
the little icon.
Yeah.
I start walking back to get the sword.
Okay.
Sorry. Minka's currently, she's
just gonna be
following
like, "Damn it, I
everyone
wish I were with you."
in the group, but she's
Okay.
kind of spaced out because she's deep in thought about what they did to break 2.
Yeah.
She has not gotten over that.
So you make your way back.
Oh yeah, when that happened,
So-
I was break 2. Oh, never mind. Of the anchors.
Yeah.
Ah.
You go through that central chamber and back into this creepy space. There is still the crumbling bits of mushrooms. You don't sense any wisps, and you can see that sword up on that plinth. It is certainly the right size to fit into that space.
I pick up the
Mage
sword.
hand, okay.
Pick up the
He picks
sword.
it up.
Whoa!
Awesome.
Does anything happen?
Nothing happens immediately,
Damn. That's crazy.
It happens.
but you do have the sword, and you now feel as if you have something that could fit the spot under the mirror that you have just unveiled.
Has the person with remove curse taken the cursed object?
Well, it doesn't. I didn't finish reading it, but I hold it and I say it doesn't feel cursed. Do curses items feel cursed? See?
Cheshire, you can tell when things are cursed, right?
Yeah. Can I tell if it's
Let's
cursed?
take a little peek.
You look at it, and it doesn't have any of those kind of like strings that are dripping with gunk or swirling in black magic. It seems relatively innocuous.
Not like some things.
Okay. Well, what does it do?
Well, I can do what swords usually do. Hit, and then, but it also it does feel like I can use this sword to insert into the mirror we saw and turn it.
So it's a key.
It also seems to. I think I feel. Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Wait, so does the sword have any other properties? I want to read that thing.
Do I know the other property? I'll say I feel a little bit safer using it, but I'm not sure how. Just yet.
Yeah, you get the sense as you hold this that this kind of almost has the capability of swallowing magic.
It's a talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, should we
I say that.
should we take it back now and turn it, or
Why not?
I don't know.
It
There's other
sounds like it is what we are here to do, but I don't know what the ramifications of it will be. But if y'all think it is the best course of action, then we can do that.
Well, according to Minka's little bone throw thing earlier.
Bone throw.
Bone throw.
Bone throw.
Would never throw the phone. That's fearsome. So he's attached to it somehow.
We do believe that turning the key in the mirror will open the container, right?
Yes.
And here's some
It'll
knows
open-
that we are here to open the container, and right? Because he warned us about opening the container.
He said, when you open the container. Not if, or there's a container and you must open it, just when.
As if it was inevitable?
That might just be because we're us.
Oh, true. But the bones did say that whatever we do here will be both good and bad. And it seems like
It's gonna be
We-
good for somebody.
at this
be bad for
point
somebody, too.
we need to know what it is that we're doing. And if nothing else, that ritual page will hopefully give us some insight of what we're actually doing.
I agree. And, you know, if we don't do it, Ori's sister is going to. And I'm not convinced we could stop her.
I'd rather be the one to do it and know what I'm fighting against ish. I kind of know what I'm fighting against.
Question about the sword: do I have to attune to it to be able to use the turning key feature?
No.
Okay.
You can use that anytime. You imagine to attune to it would make you feel safer.
Also, for what it's worth, it is a short sword. So it's not as heavy as I usually like to use, but I'll hold on to it for now.
Did we take anything from the
This
House
sword?
of Shallow Faces?
Oh.
I don't remember. Does anyone remember?
Check my
or
pockets.
would we like? Can I?
We
can
took
I
took a
memories.
frog.
Of course, of course you took things from there. You
took
guys
a
have
frog.
taken things from pretty much everywhere that you've been.
We are kleptomaniacs.
Now that she's saying it out loud,
We took memories.
can I like?
We took my
think-
memories back.
Yeah.
Did we take the books?
We took more memories.
Did we take the books?
They weren't real.
We took a man
We did take a man.
who is now a frog.
You did. You also broke something.
Yeah, we broke the memory.
You broke something, and something else had already been broken there.
Yeah.
It was a ring. It was a memory drain that existed in a place. Do you remember where that place was?
Kirlor Teledar?
Yeah. Weird.
That's what I assumed it was, but
And you broke something, I think, in that temple.
we did.
So it seems as if breaking things
Breaks things.
breaks things.
Wild.
Go figure.
It's a weird
Who would have thought?
coincidence.
Fucking wild. So, okay, I just had a thought. Do you think the mirrors are the anchors?
No, I mean they could be, but I think like the container contains the anchor, doesn't it? Or I mean,
That seems to be the implication of the inscription.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
if we open up the container, we'll figure out what they look like.
it's
So can we continue on instead of just wasting time here?
I assumed we were shorkening.
and it seems like
You're
the mirrors
walking
are the
back.
things
You
that
make your
we
way
need
into
to
the monolith room.
turn to open it.
Well, we've just been warned in two different ways from two different kinds of evil not to bring them. I just didn't know maybe if they were part of it, or just an ancillary happened to be. It's all really weird. I'm really struggling with this, guys. I'm sorry.
We're on a path now. Might as well turn the thing. I agree with Philly that more information is good.
Val, is you turning the thing? It's right in front of you.
Yeah. So
Everything turns.
can you kind of
turns.
describe like what position it's in and what position I would be turning it to? Because I'm not sure I
So-
see it.
Currently, you can see that there is a mirror, and the way that it is positioned, it is pointing out of this very thin little window. You can stick a sword into the stone element underneath it, and you can just lean into it. You imagine you would need to push it to the left. That will shift the mirror ever so slightly, and that instead of directing towards the central chamber, will now direct towards the sphere that is in the center of this pentagon row.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Am I good to do this?
Do it, do it, do it,
Go
do
for it.
do
All right.
We're on this path, whether we like it or not.
Make a strength check
That's
or an athletics check.
Guidance. I don't think that actually helps.
Even so, it's the thought that counts.
Gadonks.
Guidance always helps.
You gotta be in the habit of saying guidance at every opportunity just in case.
I fell out of it a lot. It's also concentration, which makes it awkward sometimes.
You said athletics or
Yeah.
strength?
Athletics.
I didn't roll very well, but the guidance was good. 18.
18 is way more than enough.
Oh, very good.
It's hard to turn it, harder than it should be for just shifting a mirror and angle. And sure enough, as you turn, you can hear somewhere out the window the sound of stones kind of grinding. You can hear a door opening or perhaps a gate lifting. And then in the darkness, and you can feel there is a measurable shift in the power. That electricity kind of changes, and you feel as if you have done what you have set out to do. The mirror now focusing its energy on the sphere, but in the distance, in the Shadowfell, you hear a howl. And it is not like a wolf, which you have so recently heard. It is like a man screaming in pain, and then that is echoed by another and another and another. And then, Valis, make a perception check. You are the closest. You can see straight out this narrow, narrow window into the Shadowfell beyond.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Do I feel like this is an important perception check?
Why say it like that?
Oh, he wants to.
Can I get a reroll for fun?
You have a reroll. Right?
Oh, you do have that reroll. Yeah, go ahead. You can use that reroll.
For fun and profit.
Yeah, for fun and for aromatics.
For fun and
We had an
arrows.
aromatic theme day last week. You can go back and look and see if you could tell. But we could tell because there was very aromatic things here, including the most aromatic bread that you have ever
It was so good.
perceived.
And Vincent
So much
earned
aroma.
himself a
He
reroll
did.
for that.
18.
With an 18, you gaze out this window, and what you are looking at is the dark and desolate swamp of the Shadowfell that oozes hopelessness from its fog, and its dark brackish water you can see kind of surrounded by these terrifying dead willow trees, and you are seeing not just willow trees, but almost mangroves and their roots every now and then through the dark water, and some of them walk. But more than that, with the howls, you can see darting off and into these forests, man-like shapes, but the heads almost stooped, the necks too long and furred, and rising off of the head, you can see these racks of antlers that just go off huge, and they just scamper on all fours into these crawling sort of trees and lose themselves in this place. And you imagine, should you return to the Shadowfell, you've added to it.
I relay that to the group
You do.
as I walk back to them, and
Billy, as the mirror shifts and these doors open, that feeling of being close to home only intensifies. Are you looking out?
Mm-hmm.
You look out into the Mercandraw, and you know that you are within the Shadowfell in a place that borders not just on the Feywild, but the material plane. This is a bad place. This is where all hags come from. You flip off this narrow, only like 3 inches wide is this little like arrow slit, but you flip it off. The Wendigos go howling off into the darkness, and you continue to flip them off.
Fuck you and your dogs.
Oh, is that the
You say that.
Billy stomps off.
Alina is gonna be like, maybe we should go check the room where the sphere is just to see what happened. I suspect we've unlocked 1 of 6. But she's gonna start to make her way back there just to see.
You walk back, and you can see, sure enough, the little mirror at the base of that orb that was pointed in the direction of this room is now glowing. And you can see it is currently reading the Soul Tower Dungeons.
Does that mean anything?
Fancy place for a
No.
tour.
But you did just release a whole bunch of creatures into the Shadowfell. And
So I think it's like in the Shadowfell, probably.
Yes.
Okay. Well, onward and upward, I guess.
opening more of these anchors to release more abominations into the world,
These aren't anchors; they're
or
locks.
wars around
Yeah.
the container.
It's probably to discourage people from opening it.
Or his sister did say that the mirrors containing souls is how she gains her power.
Right.
And they're not abominations.
That we know of.
They're just monsters that belong there.
Okay.
Like everything else that's there.
Okay, I have some thoughts, but they don't need to be right now thoughts. But I've worried. I'm really stuck on these anchors, guys. We destroyed 2 memory trains, right?
No,
Yes.
Alina's walking.
I destroyed all of them in the guild hall.
which
yeah,
one?
I mean, yes, but
Just the other one in this.
we just
That's
that's
the
what
other one.
we destroyed in both places.
Oh, right.
In which place?
Where Ori got his soul sucked out.
We put it back.
I'm
Granted,
confused.
it wasn't the first time.
Are you talking about the guild hall?
Yes,
Yeah, we destroyed all the memory receivers there.
and also in Saloon's place, we destroyed some stuff too that was related around memories, right? Forgetting things. You don't think that like the fracturing people can you repurpose a ritual like that? Something that was meant to have people forget one thing, forget something else?
Make an Arcana check.
Me? Fuck.
Anybody who is hearing this,
Billy would like look over and it's like, that's
7.
actually. God damn it, let me talk!
Nika, certainly not. That's ridiculous. People don't
28.
repurpose things.
24.
Natty 20.
Shows.
Not a 20.
Not a 20.
Didn't roll.
For the two of you with a 28 and a 24, yeah, people reuse rituals all the time. The magical components are there. The ley lines are there. There is power already drawn to a place. It's a common practice, in fact. In fact, some rituals require you to do them for a whole year in the exact same spot to become permanent. Yes, that makes sense. For somebody to perform a powerful ritual and then to repurpose it, that's a very good idea. It would also make it really hard to be able to tell what you are destroying because they might look like other things. They might look like star charts. They might look like a memory drain.
These fucking Horcruxes.
With a natural
Not a
20,
sponsor.
you're recognizing the broken memory drain that you guys destroyed in the guild hall. That was almost certainly one of the anchors. It was likely not always in that form, but by making it one of those drains, they harvested some of the power. You get the sense that with a natural 20, you get the sense that these anchors have likely been purposefully placed on things that will make them inconvenient, if not very dangerous, to destroy. There is intention to how these were made. When Hearsome and Alendor and Nithix created these, they really didn't want them undone. With that natural 20, you're recognizing that there may be some elements that the guild hall folks had taken advantage of in that. And in creating the memory drain, you are guessing it was the anchor first, and it became the memory drain second.
Do you share that with us?
I relay that to the group.
Okay, so don't destroy anything ever again.
Ori's sister really wants to read the ritual.
She thinks their father is up to something.
But why would that have anything to do with the pact? She's also missing memories. Things have been tampered with there.
Do you think that she could be here to destroy this anchor? Should we expose it?
If anchors have been repurposed and it's become dangerous to access, well, not become, it is dangerous to access some of them, and one of them is guarded by an archfey, but you need to destroy it or gain access to it, what better way than to take someone's memories and tell them, manipulate them into doing something like this?
Billy, you're aware of several people who have had their memories taken. For what it's worth.
Valis looks at you and say, "What if I'm doing that?"
Do you feel compelled to read the ritual from within?
I've had my memories taken. I've been asked by Hearson to help the Wandering Hearts, and the Wandering Hearts are here to open that container.
We've always been suspicious of Hearson.
I don't think it's a compulsion quite like that. I think Ori's sister is being manipulated by her father to see as a part of the fracturing. I think we're being manipulated by Hearson because he's also an archfey, but to try to not maybe necessarily stop it from happening. We might be too late for that, but if we survive thus far, maybe we'll be strong enough to deal with the after effects.
Put it back in place.
Are we the first line of defense when it all comes crashing down?
You're pretty expendable from Hearson's perspective.
We need to decide what to do about Ori's sister.
Well, she can't go into the room.
No.
She will want to go to that room,
But she can't.
and Ori will help her.
We can't let him.
So, how sure are we that opening this now will reveal an object?
It seems like that's what the anchors are, right? Objects, when they get destroyed, it...
That's what the anchors have become.
Opposed to living beings?
Or something else? I mean, the only information we have are the idea of the rituals written specifically. Where did that information come from?
What? Can you ask that question again? Can you
Or
rephrase
from
that
Ori's
question?
Ori's sister told us what was in there. Hirschman just talked about opening it. He didn't specifically say what was in it. Did he?
No, but I think... Look, she's outside. If we open it first, we'll at least be able to see what's inside and deal with it. I would rather us open it than her. We at least know who is directly behind us.
Cheshire, you made forgeries before.
Yeah.
How confident are you that you could do it before she gets here?
And also make it good enough to be believed, but not good enough to become a new anchor.
Imagine making a forgery so powerful.
It's Cheshire!
A ritual so powerful that it took like multiple archfey level creatures to do. Yeah, I love that.
So I want to approach this now with if I can't do it with brilliance, to baffle her with bullshit and make it look like it's as good as it can be.
What is it?
Whatever I'm...
We don't know.
The thing inside the container, we just don't know yet.
Okay, then yeah.
Okay.
If we're committed to opening this thing, there's like 5 more rooms that we need to address. So if we're on the clock now...
And Alina, you're standing in front of the other one in this space now in the Pentagon room.
Yeah, with her hand on the door, and she's like, clock's running, right? So time to move. And she's gonna...
You push it, and there's
We can do it without
nothing that happens. There's kind of a knob that you can pull on this one as well. Are you going to open it like that?
Sure.
You twist and pull, and it opens, and you are met with a wall of water. It shimmers. It doesn't move. It feels almost like an ooze, but it's not. You can see distinctly that this is water. It smells like water. It is shimmering with a soft, pale glow from above. It feels almost relieving. And this space, not the Shadowfell, almost certainly. There is a warm sort of wind that comes off this water. It glows softly, and you can see beyond there is artificial stone laid carefully, bricks of smooth gray granite that speckle with hints of green and black, a few of which glow faintly with elvish runes. I would say those of you who speak Elvish would recognize that it is an autumn dialect. And they are runes of speaking, of wishing, and of reaching beyond the veil of mortality. Looking at this wall, Alina, you kind of cringe for a second, but it doesn't come crashing down. And then you kind of peer up, and you can see that it goes up about 50 feet, and there you can see shimmering a reflective surface.
Can I tell, is it like an object or just the surface? Is it like...
It seems to be like when you look up at a pool, the same kind of shimmering of like where the water meets the air. And so it's just kind of like a vague glow coming from above. You can see maybe elements of like grass peeking out from the corners. But aside from that, hard to tell. And that speaks of a ceiling or a sky that is high overhead.
Is this like a reflection pool or memory pool for those who've been lost? Or like a wishing hut?
Lena's going to experimentally reach a finger out toward the water.
Okay. Experimentally, you poke and your finger just right in, and you, as you enter it in, your finger does bob down a little bit. There's pressure of water on top of it, but the wall doesn't come crashing down in on you, which is good because this space, enough water to like immediately kind of flood this. It wouldn't fill the whole room, but it would be inconvenient for sure. And what it would do to the ritual, hard to tell. But you stick your finger in, and it is just cool, clean water.
Do we need to go in and...
I was just gonna hold my breath and just wait.
Which way
Your
are we
holding your
going?
breath face is the same as your realizing something face.
Yeah.
All right. And she just walks into the water. No one stops her.
Yeah, no problem. You can do that.
I
You
follow.
walk straight into the pool of water.
How often does Billy swim?
With holding your breath, there is no problem in doing that. The water just takes over, and you kind of sink for a second and then float as the oxygen you hold sort of becomes neutrally buoyant with your armor. This is mundane water. There's nothing magical about it. The arcane ruins seem part of maybe something that is happening above.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can begin to just swim. You don't have a swim speed, do you?
I don't.
So you're just moving pretty slow.
Yeah, it's very awkward. There's
Yeah.
a lot of fabric.
Yeah.
Can I even swim in armor? Have I tried?
You haven't, but you turn, you look, Minka, like in the water, almost angelic looking because there's this soft like club and the garments are all billowy. The white cowl is just like very celestial looking.
You know, people pay a lot of money for this.
And then Minka slowly begins to like all over the place, thrashing around, and
Never
like
mind.
very, very slowly is moving up.
It's a really
Um,
awkward jellyfish moment.
Given how hard it is for Minka to move in the armor that Minka is wearing, it would be not impossible for you, but very hard.
Can't
You're looking
Minka
at a
turn into
challenging
a fish?
athletics check.
Yeah, she can. She has not yet.
Minka,
Billy says that out loud to
you rise
everybody
10
else.
feet, you rise 20 feet. You rise 30 feet. By the 50th foot, you pierce the top of the space. How are you emerging? Are you emerging quietly? Are you just bursting forth?
I will just kind of like slowly like go to the edge and be like, whoop.
Okay. So this is just like the zombies when they walk out of the ocean. You just kind of just your eyes. Minka the alligator peering in. And you can see that you are
That's not
in
how that song
a
goes.
chamber that has several shimmering pools that form almost a triangle in a small grassy area about 55 feet wide. You are on the westernmost edge of a large garden. This is an outdoor area, and you can see the sky of the Feywild overhead. It's warm here, and you can see that this garden is very peaceful. It's a secluded grove. The walls of it are formed by stone and by little bits of like trees that kind of form the canopy overhead. You feel as if you are in almost a temple. The leaves here swirl in the wind, but the trees themselves, they are not dying. There are no leaves falling off them. They seem to be suspended in a moment between the lush vibrancy of life and the inevitable decay of autumn. This feels very autumnal here. And in the center of this garden is where you are kind of like seeing a pond that is bigger than the other ones, bigger than the one that you are like peeking out of. This seems to reflect, it seems to be almost mirroring the shifting twilight of the Feywild sky. And at its center, you can see a perfect 10-foot wide pedestal made out of white stone. And it features a gorgeous statue of an elvish sort of entity. It seems to speak of something religious. And you can see, make a perception check.
I got some water in my eye.
Okay.
But it's not a 13.
With a 13, you can see that there may be an inscription at the base, but at this distance, hard to tell. In the water that separates you and this sort of plinth, there's also grass and stuff between, but you can see there are pale lilies that float on the water, and the petals are tinged with the softest blue. Aside from that, this place seems relatively empty. This is a deeply spiritual place that people might come to pray or to worship. This seems like you are within the Feywild, but at the moment you are alone. Yes.
Rez has a swim speed, so after a second, I'm gonna be like, "Why don't you go with her so that you can like, let us communicate with her?" And so he's like, "Got it."
Yeah, no, you got it.
Do you say it out loud?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just gonna
Swim
send Rez
straight
so
up.
that we can ask Minko what's going on and if we should follow her. He can swim. He's really good at it.
Okay, I was gonna say, shouldn't we all go after her?
Rez's head just
You look
bursts
happy.
through and it goes, "Oh, hey Minka, what we got here?" He
We
looks
appear
around.
to be
His
in-
wings kind of float up and like spread out to form almost like a life raft in the water.
We appear to be in some sort of religious temple. Maybe or maybe not, related to death of some kind.
Make a perception check for Rez. He's kind of gazing around.
There's a statue.
13.
Oh yeah, no, I see it. So what are we doing?
Well, I was gonna go read the statue, and hope I don't die. Since you're here, you can just stay here, and then if I die, you can just let them know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alina's like,
get out
ask
of the
her
pool.
if we should like come in there. What's going on?
Oh,
Should we
Minka,
join?
do you want them to come in here with you?
They don't have to yet. It seems to be pretty quiet.
In your head, you hear, no, Minka's got it.
She says she's got it.
Also, then everyone will be wet and soggy.
So she's gonna get
That's
out
fair.
of the pool.
Okay.
Aren't we doing the thing that we said we shouldn't do?
You plant your hands on either side, and
We
you
should
separate
follow her.
yourself from
We
the
shouldn't let
water
her.
and your
What if
group,
this place is guarded?
and you make your way across the space. You can see there are small
you'll
stone
just, like-
statues of departed Fey heroes and ancestors, kind of dotting this place, less like a graveyard and more like a statue garden. And you approach this main place. You can see on some of these statues there are wreaths of autumnal leaves. There are tiny little offerings, little fruits. You actually see a bottle of wine kind of tucked into one of these statues, little inscribed tokens. There is a spiritual essence as you get closer to the center of the space. You approach the statue, and you can see just gorgeous elvish woman, and the white stone is polished almost to a mirror finish. Make another perception check now that you're a little closer.
Don't be in Sylvan, please. Natural 20.
Nice.
You don't understand
Total
it,
of
and that
30.
actually tells you that it's not Sylvan. This is probably a name.
Mm.
Written on the bottom of the statue is the words Neuralis Onalor.
Okay.
And make a religion check.
Five.
With a 5, that might be some kind of like, you know how sometimes people say like alakazam or abracadabra? This might be some kind of fake magic words. It's something spiritual. You're not sure what it is. But not important, certainly. What is important with that natural 20 is, aside from the stone being polished to a mirror finish, beneath where this sort of name is, there is a gorgeous sort of mirror. And it is very similar to the one that Valis turned. And looking around on the other side of the statue, there is an opening, shaped almost like a crescent. To turn this, and the mirror kind of reflects out and into the place where the grove kind of comes to a narrow opening and then twists out of sight, probably the entrance. You could redirect it from that entrance to the space that you have entered into, and that would change its orientation back towards the orb.
I look towards the entrance. Is there anything obviously magical occurring at the entrance?
Yes, you are standing in a druid's grove.
Oh.
Sit rep.
Minka's
Minka,
gonna go back to Rez and
what's
be like,
going on over there?
she's gonna go back and she's gonna like crouch to the edge of the pool and be like,
Okay. So, the statue
Yeah.
is has some words on it. Neuralis Analor. I don't know
Bless
what
you.
that means. Someone downstairs might maybe ask if you can. Also, I found where the mirror is. This appears to be a druid grove. I worry that if we turn it, then this sanctuary of Fey heroes will become no longer protected.
Is that
Oh,
what
that's
we're
too
doing?
bad.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll tell Valis.
Mhm.
In your mind, Alina, you say, Alina found the thing. It's up here. We need the key.
Oh, the sword?
That's all he said.
Yeah. Okay, was there anything else going on up there? Rez
Uh,
has a reputation for not
Yeah,
reporting
oh, no, for
fully,
sure.
So Alina's gonna be like, you're right, and then just like look in here through his eyes. And...
Just some kind of druid magic, I guess.
Okay, I'm looking through his eyes now.
You peer out, and this is a beautiful, peaceful place. And for you, Alina, almost intuitively, there is something, a connection to this place. You look at the autumnal leaves, this kind of place where these trees are suspended between life and death. You feel very calm here.
This place rocks.
do I realize Alina's looking through Rez?
Yeah, because Rez just goes,
Elena's like, hey, it's me now. What is actually happening here?
This is a druid grove. It appears to be where people come to remember and honor old Fae heroes. And the shiny statue there has the words Noralis Anilor on them. But the mirror's in them. And if we turn it, we'll probably break the druid grove enchantment.
Okay. Do I recognize this word? I'll say the words out loud to everybody.
Make a religion check.
Can we all make it?
Yeah, anybody who wants to.
These dice wait. Oh, look at that. That's a number. That's a number you rolled over there.
It's not. Everybody else gets to roll one too.
14.
This ain't on me.
18.
Okay.
19?
Okay.
Cheshire's religious?
Currently.
With an
3.
18 and 19. With a 3, again.
Chester likes stories.
you're in
Let's just
fate
say this
words.
particular religion.
For the two of you, you've heard a little bit about the Elvish Pantheon. And this is a god within the Elvish Pantheon with a portfolio that extends into the easing of suffering around loss.
Oh.
You've actually been to the Order of the Tearful Dove, and
It's Palace's god.
they're not Valis' god, but similar kind of similar connotations, perhaps. But this is more of an Elvish deity. They are also known as the Watcher of Souls.
Billy's not religious, and you're Elvish. And Billy's racist.
There you go.
I start to
Oh,
take
wait,
off
the
my
combo.
armor.
Okay.
Billy's a
Looking-
keeper.
Looking around,
Let me know when it's
now
off.
that Minka said,
10
like,
minutes, right, to Dolph?
Is it?
I believe so. For,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
can't you just vamp up there?
You have to see it, no?
Do I see the bottom of the pool?
It's also
You do?
a
Okay, so like, how deep is it? Like, I don't want to sink to my
It's
death.
50. So, you are at the bottom.
Oh,
So
I'm
when
at the bottom.
When you
You're going
open,
up.
you are at the bottom of essentially a 50-foot deep well. When you go out, you can look up, and it's 50 feet to the surface.
Okay. I'd like to visit this grove, especially if we may be its last visitors. And I hop in the swim.
Maybe
Okay.
we should go
Boom,
get
boom. You
the
step in,
sword.
and it just kind of water.
I
you don't go
have the
anywhere.
sword.
Oh, you took it with you?
Yeah, I have the sword.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah.
As Bellis is stepping in, levitate.
Oh, I'm so good at swimming.
Val,
I
you
am
have
so
no idea
glad
what
that
you're
you doffed
worried
his
about.
armor
You just
and
zoom
then
in.
you're levitating him.
For you, Minka, you're kind
This
of like
grove accepts me.
you're kneeling down, you're talking, and then you just see green and glowing, and then the armor just reflecting light, and then Valis just.
I am chosen!
You emerge into
claw.
the space, and for you, Valis, this is a very peaceful grove. It is within the Feywild. You can see this kind of twilight Feywild sky overhead, and you are wet. You swim up. Do you have a swim speed?
No, but I was,
You swim.
yeah.
It's less glamorous than Valis firing up, but you
I'm a
do.
freaking satyr, okay?
You do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Minka knows the spell Druid Grove.
Yes.
So she would know that there are like defenses on a Druid Grove.
Correct.
Does she think that turning the mirror would activate any of these defenses?
With what you know about this spell, given the nature of what you are seeing, the defenses seem to be more oriented outwards or within the tree line of the wall.
Mhm.
You don't think that it will activate them. Will it lower them?
Mhm. Probably.
Perhaps.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Do we think that after we are done looking within the container that we can move the mirror back to where it's currently oriented?
We might be able to.
I'd like to try.
If nothing else, when we're done and adventuring and I'm still alive, I could come back and start recasting it. It would take a year, but I could at least help this one. Assuming we live, and it's still here by that
It'll
time.
be hard to get here. We were only able to get here with that spell you cast.
You're right.
Minka's gonna start looking really hard for trees that she can fit in.
I mean, easy enough. Most of the trees that form a wall of this place you could fit in. So you go and you find one that looks especially friendly. Nice, even terrain in front so you don't twist an ankle coming out. And you remember that tree.
So while you guys are dealing with the mirror, Minka's gonna just be staring real hard at this tree and perhaps touching the bark a little bit, just be like,
Yeah, sense memory is important.
Yeah.
You smell it. You look around.
Um,
You just look a
And
little
by
bit.
dealing with the ritual, Valis kneels in front of the statue and starts to say a prayer.
So you go to the statue. For you, Alina, you doggy paddle up.
Yeah.
And you breach the surface of this place. And as you do, for all of you, the leaves stop falling. They just freeze in midair. And you can feel, Alina, as you get to this place, it is like the whole grove holds its breath. You, unlike everybody else here, beyond being just like a guest of honor, it's almost like this grove is excited to have you. And as you approach this place, even if there was defenses that would be active, you imagine they would not activate against you.
Your turn to make a difficult decision, friend.
Do we notice that as Alina comes?
Yeah, oh yeah, the leaves literally stop falling. They were in a constant state of kind of falling and swirling back up and falling again. None were falling out of the trees. They seemed almost locked in time. Now everything. It is like this whole grove holds its breath and waits to see what happens.
I don't think I can do this.
You don't have to witness it.
Are you asking this not to be done, or are you saying that you don't want to be here when it is done?
I don't know. It's a sacred place. I don't think I can justify lowering its protections.
I can bear that sin.
Alina's like, hold on, I'm nauseous.
You're not sure if it's the after effects from fighting those mushroom creatures or the prospect of doing this thing. And it is a big decision.
We put the wheels in motion. Unfortunately, if we stop now, we still have caused damage.
Hold on a sec. Alina is going to she's gonna kneel at the statue. No, not kneel. She's gonna like prostrate herself
Okay.
in front of the statue, and whisper, "I'm sorry," and then she's going to walk back to the water and like swim back in,
Okay.
back down to where Billy is.
You swim back down to where Billy is. You leave this place behind. And as Alina leaves, the leaves just fall to the ground. And they don't swirl back up. Valis, you say your prayer. Anything else you're doing?
Is it just me and Minka up here?
And Rez, if you still being afloat.
Are you
Alina's gonna
done making friends with trees?
Oh yes.
send
I
Rez
just-
back to his pocket dimension.
I just
Okay.
wanted to
She
make
doesn't
sure,
want to be connected to this.
No
at all.
problem.
Yeah.
If
No witnesses.
I just wanted to make sure we can make our way back here in the future, so I can start undoing what we've done.
And he takes out the mirror key, and he says, "Are we doing this?"
Yeah.
Okay. And he goes over and sticks the key in the thing and starts to turn it.
You stick the key into the base of the statue and you make an athletics check. This turn's a little easier than the last one.
Guidance.
Aha! We did it.
We're the ones who found the baby.
Sorry, you said it was what? Harder than the last one?
Athletics check. A little easier than the last one.
Okay. 17.
You push, and the entire statue rotates. And as it does, Minka, you can feel a dramatic shift in the grove around. The wind blows through, and it is a cold wind. And you can see, Minka, as you watch from a little further away, as the shadow turns, the face changes as well. And that white stone shifts and becomes a little bit duller. It doesn't reflect anymore. And the face is different. And it's like something that you've seen before. All around you, the stone statues change and shift, and though the trees don't change, they do grow a little colder and a little stiller. And this place no longer belongs to the pantheon of elves. This place firmly belongs to Shar. And as you think about revisiting this place, you remember the last time you walked away from a place of the Lady of Loss.
We can't come back. Once we leave, we're done. We've lost this place. But hopefully, it'll be for the greater good.
At the bottom, Billy's just like pacing back and forth, waiting for the peeps to come down.
Sure. Are you two returning?
We should go. We can bear this. I'll let Valis go down first so Macon can help him if
Okay.
he gets stuck
He
in
doesn't
the...
need help.
He
He'll
just
sit.
Yeah, without levitate active, you just step in and you wait for like a nice slow fall, but you straight down and then clunk onto the bottom, and you can just take like the 3 steps out the wall of water.
During the time
swim
that they're
down.
up there, Billy's like pacing back and forth, like got the like red string out again.
Yeah, no problem.
She's like, okay, but what if I'm also missing memories, though, that I think they're all back, but maybe they're not. And if they're not all back, Delia's called me a hag errand girl. What if I'm the one that's breaking it open and it's gonna be bad?
Alina is not listening. She has found a corner to crumple up into and feel bad for herself.
It's a free action.
Yeah.
When we come back down,
Reaction crumple.
when Minka like steps out of the pool and like wrings herself out.
For each of you, as you step out, like a little water gets on the floor, but for Minka, it is just huge splash. It is like a little wave comes in, and then Minka starts wringing out the garments, and like a 1/2-inch puddle kind of forms around this doorway. But yeah, no problem.
Are the mirrors intact? Do they stay the same? Do the mirrors stay good?
The mirrors are fine.
Onward.
When Valis exits the pool, he's gonna walk over to the dark corner that Alina's at and ask her if she wants a hug.
She stands up and just crumples in, head on the shoulder.
I'm sorry. That couldn't have been easy.
She extracts herself from the hug and turns to follow wherever Cheshire is going.
Okay, you make your way back down that long central hall into the main chamber. But as you leave this chamber behind with this dome that has this sort of ritual, you can see it glows a little brighter and more of these runes filled in. And you can see that in the place that you had just left, there is the words, the quiet pools.
Are Valis's hugs as good as Vincent's? Because if so, she does feel marginally better.
Yeah.
Valis has high charisma.
Even with the armor on.
Yeah. Somehow it's still soft.
You make your way back to
It's
that
really
main
warm.
chamber. From that main chamber, there are 4 hallways that you have not gone down yet.
Then go to close the door behind her, just in case.
Okay. You shut the door behind.
Yeah, that's it.
To the
If
right.
no one is offering any direction themselves, Chester's going to pick the next one to the left.
Next one to the left. So you're heading northwest.
Is that this room here, like coming back to here and then going here?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Wait,
So that would be
which
our right.
left?
So our left.
Wherever we're emerging
Okay,
out of,
so
she's
this
going
one.
to the left.
There.
Oh,
Okay.
then here.
No problem.
Guys, we can do this.
You enter into the space
riddle.
with all these mirrors. You can see elements of this purple haze on the other side of the glass. In some of these places, it feels almost like you are being watched from these panes, but you turn and you move through the northeasternmost corridor, and it's long and it's dark, but you make your way through with no issues. And at the end, there is a doorway, large double doorway, metal doors, and you can feel the air from the other side is cool.
When she gets to the door, she will stand aside.
Alina like just shoves her way through the door.
The doors
Purpose.
kind of echo in this space, and they open into a dark, narrow, almost like stone closet. You can just kind of shove in, and it is just like you are walking into a 5x5 space. There's like nothing that you can really do in either one, but you can see in front of you, dark stone. It is clearly a false back because there are, well, no obvious handles, little bits of space along the seam. And you can feel a warm, dry air that passes through. There is something else beyond. Make an athletics check. Oh, sorry. So you try to like squeeze. It's like very, very
Oh
narrow.
no, I was hoping maybe it was like an illusion.
No, you kind of jam your wrist a little bit.
Is it large enough for a small animal?
If it was, it would need to be like a cockroach. It's very, very thin, the seam. But it is, you would need to be a very small animal, a tiny animal.
Alina's just gonna like step out of the space, let somebody else do it.
I could try mouse. Does anyone else have any other ideas, just in case I get stuck in a crevice and die?
Can
Could
you
I
just
see through?
Make a perception check.
Like through a crack or something?
Make a perception check.
I don't like the way he's saying that.
No.
Sorry, could you re-describe what we're seeing?
Just a 5x5 little stone closet almost, but the back seems to be false because there's
Go
air coming
cast
in
it.
from the seams.
Oh no.
9.
No.
You look and you see stone.
So I'm like, I got nothing.
I try to just put my hand on the stone and see if it's not an illusion.
It's not. Your hand just clang right up against the rock.
Tried that. It hurt.
Do any of the, and is the only thing we found this small crevice?
Alina's like,
It's all around, so you can see the back of this back wall. It's not just a crevice, it's like a seam. And so the back wall seems to be false. When you put your hand up against it, it didn't move, but if you really pushed it, you might be able to like either slide it aside or just push it straight back.
I'll try to push really hard.
Make an athletics check.
23.
This is heavy, but it's not the thickest stone. You shove, and there is a brief moment where it rocks and then falls back and slams on the ground. And you can see as the stone shatters across the stone floor, you are exiting a sarcophagus.
I think I found another idea.
The room beyond you can see is one. There's at least a couple other sarcophagus that are within. The one that you are in is in a row of 4, in fact, and it's mirrored on the opposite wall. You see 4 other sarcophagus beyond. You can see along a pair of narrower walls off to the left and the right, 2 similar stone tombs stand, all shot, all ornately decorated, and they bear names. Do you speak Infernal?
No, but do I recognize it as such?
Yes.
Raz
Oh,
does, and I can
uh,
read all language.
Yeah, and I say I think that's Inferno here. Also, Divine Sense.
Okay. Divine Sense. Kind of spreading out. And what is the range on Divine Sense?
I believe it's 60 feet, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was
Yeah,
30.
Rose, but I believe it's 30. Actually, I also have it on this
I think
card
it's,
here.
yeah, I think it's only 30.
1 mile.
Having been a paladin 3 times now, I must say, divine sense.
Oh wait, it is 60 feet.
Hey, look at that.
Do you say that it's an infernal or?
I say the writing is in. I believe that's infernal writing. I do say that out loud.
Elena's gonna be like, and resummon Raz and be like, "Hey, bud, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. I don't like swimming that much anyways. I'm good at it. Don't get me wrong.
You are
But,
really
like-
weirdly good at it."
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
60. Oh, sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say 60 feet, but if they're behind cover, total cover, it doesn't work.
You don't see anything.
Okay.
And
Rez kind of squints and he goes, "Yeah, that one right there. That says Lord Umbrathar, the Shrouded Sovereign, and that one over there is royalty. That's Queen Nishira, the Eternal Eclipse. Does this mean anything to you guys?
doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't sound
Make a history check at disadvantage.
If only someone with an advantage in history checks about Alberon right here.
Can I have Ori's thing? Or...
It wouldn't apply. You're in a distant land.
Aw,
What?
I'm really sad.
This isn't
I rolled
our
a
home?
disadvantage, and it was a 20 and a 4.
Oh no!
With
Is
that
it
4,
religion?
hard to tell. Yeah, history.
Oh, his 7.
Hard to tell.
Those don't sound good. Those sound kind of like vampire names.
17
17.
with disadvantage.
Infernal? Vampires infernal? Billy says out loud, hoping Rez says something.
Rez goes, "No, probably not vampires, but maybe like I don't know. This is pretty fucking weird." And with that roll, you don't recognize these names, but infernal, vampire, neither of those seems to stick. This seems like something else. But hard to tell what.
These demons?
There's a staircase in the center of the room that travels up to a second floor.
Can you read the rest of the names?
Yeah, no, easy. I mean, I know how to read. Lord Zephyrian, the Veil of Dread. You got Count Vesperian, the Knight's Embrace. And then over there is Lady Callista, the Gloom Weaver. And you want me to...
Can I make a check?
Yeah.
The Gloomweaver.
It's still a disadvantage?
Yes.
History?
Yep.
9.
I feel like Vincent has heard the word Callista, but I don't think Valis has, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's also tickling my brain.
a
but I'm
campaign
not-
1
so hard.
thing.
Is
Yeah,
it
it sounds
campaign
like
one?
a-
Yeah.
No.
No? Callista
Oh,
like
wait.
campaign 1?
It was in the book.
Hmm.
Ah!
Someone's got a book!
What is happening right now?
Cheshire doesn't remember. Tina
But
does.
your rolls so far have not been high enough
Right.
to really pull anything to mind. You're in a place that's very different. The architecture, the stone, the feeling in the air. This feels like the Shadowfell, not part of the material plane.
It's really frustrating being smarter than your character.
Hmm.
I've never had that
I
struggle before.
also, yes.
Never
been a
wiser
problem
than
for
I
me.
am, but not smarter than I am.
She's not very smart.
Well, Matt is saying things, but Ori's not here.
That's
so
true.
It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Sorry, buddy.
Were there more names after Callista, the Gloomweaver?
Rez kind of like peers out through and turns their head to look at the row that is like beyond you, and he says, "Some of these names are kind of worn. Those are the ones that I could read. This place is old."
I can read all writing. Can I see if there's any that he didn't get that I can?
Yeah, there isn't. There are places where the stone is worn so much that there just isn't text. This is an old place. There's dust on the floors. The air is a little stale, if warm. That is what you see in the staircase going up.
Are there any crescent-shaped slots lying around?
Make a perception. Make an investigation check.
It's not good. 10.
0.
Free action sulk.
You sulk now in this room.
We just came out of sarcophagus.
Would it be in a sarcophagus?
Likely the one directly across, because that's where the mirror would likely point back to. I mean, turns around and wait. No, we didn't. We're here. We went that way. Yeah, never mind.
It does need to be within a reasonable amount of space, theoretically, if it needs to point back.
It needs to point towards the room, the Pentagon
There's a
room.
staircase
There is.
down.
Up.
Minka's gonna start going up the staircase.
Okay.
I'll
You
follow.
cross the distance. You walk over to these stairs and you walk up. You emerge into a space as big as the one that you are leaving from, but there are tall stone walls that rise up 8 feet tall, just 4 feet short of the ceiling, which is 12 feet up. You can see there's a slight gap between the interior walls and the ceiling proper. There are several stone little rooms or cells perhaps, and you can see there are doors, each of which bears a heavy sort of padlock on it. The walls themselves here are stone. There is another staircase that goes up. You can see from this staircase there is a faint silvery glow, like a thin reflection of a flickering flame.
Does this strike me as like ventilation? Like the wall's not going all the way up to allow some level of ventilation so the air isn't like completely stale down here?
Make a survival check.
All my important rolls tonight
Checks
have
are not
been
checking tonight.
You breathe in the
Really?
stale air,
fucking terrible. It's a total of 12.
probably for ventilation in the stale airspace.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be
Didn't
good at
matter.
these things.
You turn and you gaze up the stairs, and that is where that warm air is coming from.
I'm gonna keep going up.
You go up the stairs. Minka, as you walk up the stairs, Val, as you're following,
Yeah.
is everybody else following?
Yeah.
As Minka gets halfway up the stairs, there is a rattle from the floor that you are leaving.
Billy
And
runs
you
back
can
down.
hear as down the rows these doors unlock. And they swing open, and Valis, you see what your Detect Undead did not. There are, in each of these cells, well, would a visual perspective be
Damn.
helpful?
Damn, son.
Or he's gonna come in next week like the gift from Community with the pizza. Fire.
Oh, hey guys.
Oh,
Did
let's-
Pull off
I
your
miss
minions
dinner?
here.
Solus.
This is what happens when you ask an archfey for dinner. That was my terrible Ori. Apologies.
You have to try to channel
Better than I could do.
shoot, what's his name? Steven from Moon Knight.
Oh. Oh, that's so many guys.
So you are all entering like this and coming up here. You are stepping out. And as Minka gets right here and you are all clustered here, these doors all swing open. And you can see there are quite a few skeletons within. But because it is 10 o'clock and a great place for us to take a break, this is where we're going to end for the evening. Thank you for sticking with us for this session of Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest. We will be back next week, but if you cannot wait that long, you're in luck. On Sunday, you can join us for the second session of Iron and Thorns, Kara's original cipher system anthology that uses the Old Gods of Appalachia rule set. It is going to be a blast. Please join us then. But whatever you do, please stay safe. It is wild out there. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.